Hey guys, and we're live. I'm just going to do this.
And then we're gonna play the thing.
Yes, we're live. Not at our normal time either. This is an after dark special, and I think it's already kind of gone off the rails even before we went live.
That bad.
Not yet.
And it's not completely my fault this time.
No, but it's all part of the plan.
It's not usually your fault in the first place, Willow, but
I mean, it's always my fault, so that's fine.
Everything's Willow's fault, really.
Oh, no.
So,
the
No,
train
it's
wreck.
a good thing. It's a good thing. It's why we love her. It's why we keep bringing her back every week.
So like,
It is,
can
it's
we
fun.
say that there's enough hair on today's episode?
I don't know, dude. I just got a haircut, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I just cut off 4 inches.
Nice, nice.
All of you guys just mock me.
And
Exactly.
then you
Sorry,
can see
Elmer.
Steve's luxurious locks in the light. Do that hair
I'll give
thing
you
again,
all
Steve?
of what falls out when I brush it.
Jeez,
Oh, my God. I could build another Heather from the hair that comes out.
My goodness.
Well, we'll all make a wig for Omar, and then he'll never feel left out. And then he'll have a long, luxurious mane like Steve, right?
Right.
Well,
I-
Steve
I've gotta be
has
honest,
more
I'm-
hair than Omar has. Did you notice?
I think I'm jealous of Omar. Like that's a beautiful head.
it is
So
a great
like
head.
underneath this mop of hair is just like this little tiny skull. So if I lost all my hair, it would just be embarrassing. But Omar, you've got a beautifully shaped head.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. It
You're
was
very
Wow.
welcome.
That's
You're
you.
very
it was a
welcome.
surprise when it happened. I was like, I don't know how it's gonna look under this, but it worked out all right.
It looks great. So if I go in that direction, I'm in trouble.
Don't
You're
worry.
already
What
perfect.
happens to my head if I go bald? Like, I don't know if it's my hair or my head that's big.
I tried a Snapchat filter one time that made me look bald, and it was not a good
Oh,
one.
no.
I'm scared. Like my kids did that to me once last year. My students, yeah.
Oh, with the
It
filter.
was it
Makes
was
me want to
scary.
be even more Nicole.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all ridiculously good-looking people, so it doesn't really matter.
There you go.
Yeah.
So speaking of
We choose
good-looking
radio.
people, let's go ahead and introduce Heather, who's our new co-host.
Oh, that's me.
She was on our last episode, and we kind of clicked, and I
Our
felt that
Halloween episode.
yeah,
that what it
no,
was?
the convention episode.
Last week, Nicole,
I don't know. It's been a rough week. I don't know.
when we were talking things about conventions that we dare not name.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
So
It's like the Voldemort
yes,
of convention.
exactly. So Heather, we love having you with us now. So for those that missed last week, you want to go ahead and reintroduce yourself to everybody?
Hi, I'm Heather. Oh, that's it. Okay. I'm Heather. I am so happy to be here officially, so thank you. I am a very outgoing, crazy individual that likes to do way too many things with her time. Most famously, recently, I started a nonprofit called Still Serving at the beginning of quarantine to support locally owned and operated restaurants, event venues, breweries, bars, pop-ups, et cetera, et cetera. I am also the Fan Expo Meetups Ambassador for MegaCon Orlando. So I plan events monthly around the whole Central Florida area. And I'm a nerd. What did I say pre-show? My fandom is random. Yes, that's going to be my new thing. Yeah. But vampires.
You know what? Make that into a T-shirt.
I'm
Yeah.
going to. My fandom is random. I literally have my cricket sitting next to me, and I'm just going to proudly wear that every day. It's like it'll become a part of me.
I think it would be most of us.
I love that.
Like,
Yeah.
our fandom is random.
I like that. She's got to trademark that. That's catchy.
TM.
Yes. And we do have a special guest joining us tonight. He is the owner of Gideon's Bakehouse in Orlando. 2 locations, right? It was at East End Market and Disney Springs.
That is correct. Yes. Hi. And I'm here with Vincent tonight.
Yay!
How you doing?
So cute.
Yeah, this is my baby boy.
So cute. How old is he?
Vincent is both of the boys are 7. So right before we started taping, you saw the other one. And this one's Vincent the poet. He's the sweet
That's
one.
the cuddly one.
Yeah, he just wants to cheek all the time.
So cute.
Yeah.
Nice. And then, of course, we're joined by Ryan of Nerd Culture. How you doing, Ryan?
I think I'm okay. I think I'm still alive, right? Yeah. So no, I'm doing great, man. It's good to be here. Good to meet some new folks. Clearly, I am not living in the right state because all the cool people live in Florida. But hey,
down.
we here in
Plenty of
Maryland,
room.
we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two, and our business is good. So we're gonna keep it that way. But other than that, yeah, it's good to be here, I guess. And by the way, just to give you, the viewer, peek behind the curtain, Brian's got 5 or 10 news stories that he's going to be dropping on this After Hours program, and I did no research beforehand. So I have no idea what's going on, and I'm going to have little to no reaction to anything you're going to throw me because I'm going to throw my hands and be like, what are you talking about? What's wrestling? I don't know what that means. Or what's Morbius? Is he some boy band back home? I don't know.
Yes,
But yeah,
the joy of
we'll
improv.
cross those bridges when we get there for you at home.
Yes. And then, of course, my brother from another mother, Omar. How you doing? I know you just had a bout with the hospital. You doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Yeah, I'm doing all right. You know, still kicking, still going. So.
Yes. And for those that don't follow Omar, he is a huge horror fan, and he's starting to put his horror podcast together. Kind of have to rework it after your cease and desist from Shudder because they got mad at you.
Yes, yes, they came down hard.
Yes.
Yes, but that's how you get your name out there.
Great publicity.
I wonder if they could get me for saying former host of the Creep Show and just introduce it that way all the time.
I do want to talk about some things, but I want to find out a little bit more about Steve. He seems like a very interesting cat. Steve, when did the whole love of baking and all that start for you?
Oh, the Gideon story is an interesting one in that I'm not a baker. I never meant to open up a bakery. I'm a vocal music major and worked in the music field for over a decade. And had a botched surgery on my left hand, and then decided to move to Orlando and open up a comic book store called Uberbot. If anybody's been in Orlando or in Central Florida long enough, Uberbot's a little bit of a deep cut at this point, but it was this really cool, if I do say so myself, pop culture. Thank you. Like a pop culture art gallery that specialized in designer toys. It was in the Winter Park Village.
It was amazing.
And at the front of it, it was an art gallery, and as you ventured towards the back, it was like a comic book store for people that didn't like comic book stores, is the way that a lot of people described it. So all of the comic artists that would come and do art shows, their wives loved it because they loved hanging out on the couch and the music, and it was a very clean, kind of modern design art gallery. Very much the opposite of what Gideon's Bakehouse is. But I started giving away.
Is literally an art gallery as well.
It's definitely an art gallery, but it's not a modern design. That's for sure.
No, the opposite. Yeah, agreed. Mm-hmm.
But throughout all of this, baking was my hobby. I always just wanted. I made it a personal mission to create a chocolate chip cookie that I was proud of, that I wanted to eat, and it was just one of those things that I obsessed over 15 years. I bake when I'm sad, so I joke that the secret ingredient in a Gideon's cookies are my tears. And every time I was sad, I would just bake. Yeah, that's why there's salt on top of that cookie. It's true. And I started giving away the cookies at the art gallery. People freaked out. I started selling them as like a little side hustle. And then eventually East End Market had a little pop-up, and I was invited to do a pop-up there. And it on day one was crazy, and the next thing you know, I've got a store on the international stage at Disney Springs. I make it sound like it was over the course of this amount of time, but I just basically truncated 20 years for you.
Wow.
20 years of my life.
Well done.
Thank you.
That is incredible.
So we have some pictures here. I mean,
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
The motif of your restaurant, have you always been into like the whole steampunk type of world, or?
No, not necessarily steampunk. More Victorian, and I really love that old old books and antiques. The name Gideon's Bakehouse comes from me collecting old books.
Okay.
20-ish years ago, I found an old cookbook that had handwriting in it. It was a little kid that was writing in a cookbook because he wanted to be a baker when he grew up, and I found that to be really fascinating. So when it actually came time to open up a bakery, my friend, oh God, get that picture off the screen. Look at that.
Oh my god.
What is this?
That guy?
Who did this deep dive to find the worst
Ryan,
old possible pictures?
I said run photos by me, sir.
Oh wow!
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is what happens when you rely on Google.
Yeah. Oh no. Please. Well, first, don't try to find a picture of me because I work really hard to get it.
I have one
pictures
from
out of
opening
it.
day at Disney Springs. I will never share.
Oh no.
Oh, do
I'm
you?
sorry,
Thank you.
Heather,
I appreciate
should
it.
have came to you. For
I have one promo shot that I like. Okay, fine. I'm gonna do a promo shot, but I hate having my picture taken. I hate being seen.
Really?
Oh yeah, you're definitely like the man behind
yeah.
the curtain for sure. But you like meeting your fans, and I hate to
I
say
love
fans.
talking to people. I just don't. Me being out at Disney Springs, identifying myself as the owner is new for me. Like I always ran the social media, for example, but I was never openly me until Disney Springs, and a lot of that was because people assume we're Disney, or they think that Gideon's is some giant company, and it's just it's a
Locally
single
owned and
owner
operated.
business. Yeah, I mean, I pulled off Disney Springs with no investors or partners. It's just I'm just dumb enough to do it by myself.
And you still have like a 2 or 3 hour wait on most days for cookies.
Yeah, I think I think we were at a 5-hour wait by 11 o'clock today.
Today. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, because it's also
Saturday.
the expo. The run.
Yeah.
It's also on Disney Saturday weather. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
weekends.
that
weekends
photo
are
though
crazy.
does show like your love for baking, but then you're talking about your love for books and stuff. So having like the books behind you, it kind of went with your story there.
Yeah, so the visual of the shop really came from the idea, what would this creepy little kid have liked? And I was a creepy little kid, so it's an easy thing for me to answer. So the original Gideon's at East End Market has the books. It has actually a chandelier that used to hang in the Haunted Mansion, because obviously, like when I was a kid, I loved Haunted Mansion. It's the very cheap version of what Disney Springs is, because I only had $800 in the bank when I started Gideon's. I had lost everything with my with Uberbot, so I was pretty broke when I restarted what was then a third attempt at making a living.
Third time's a charm, though, my friend.
Yeah,
Time that you've created.
I can do a masterclass on failing up at this point.
That's true.
Yeah, but
True.
I
And
cherish all of those. All of those failures have been a magical part of my life.
Yeah, there's stepping stones, and I mean, you've always been a very humble person, and it's been quite impressive because people expect somebody like the proprietor of Gideon's to have such a big, raging personality. You do, but you're one of the most humble, kind people that's so involved in the community that I'm honored to call friend. But so genuinely, like the community just keeps coming for you in like the best sort of ways. You've got the custom pottery design. You've got people who are just throwing themselves at you, and it's really inspiring to see.
Thank you. Yeah, I love a local community is everything to me. So I want to. Sorry about the cat booty in the picture.
Should we put a big X over it or censor? No.
Yeah, but the little pixelated.
Yeah.
And now he's going for the camera. So if that falls over, you know what happened. I love working with local artists. Like I said earlier, Gideon's to me is an art gallery. So I think of the cookies as art. I think of the physical store as escapism. I like to think that I create desserts that are pretty unique to us, so that it creates a memorable experience when you try the cookie. When it comes to the desserts, I'm obsessed with avoiding mediocrity. I think is probably the best way to put it. When it comes to store design and all of those things, I want it to be different. We're not like anything else, and I take pride in that. But I love bringing in the artists and like you mentioned, the custom plates, which Cassandra Milena, she's one of my best friends. Sandra also was a big part of helping me design the interior and theming out the interior of the Disney Springs location. I didn't hire a company to create Gideon's Bakehouse at Disney Springs. I did it with Mike and Sandra, my art director and my one of my best friends. We did that over a weekend. I just saw
the new picture for this weekend. The new T-shirt release is bad.
Oh yeah, I love that guy. I love the sticker. Is super cool. I love having those menus every month with a different piece of art on it. Mike is fantastic. The very first cookie we released with a story was Stuart Valencia. It was the cautionary tale.
Cute.
Yeah, I love him. He's the cautionary tale of a boy that ate so many oranges that he turned into an orange boy. And I love that in the description of the cookie, it's an orange pecan chocolate chip cookie. In the description of the cookie, it said something like, we get the candied orange from Stuart. We don't know for sure where he gets it, but he assures us that it's organic, meaning that the orange peel comes from his face. And only a few people got that. He's the best. So I love creating cookies with lore. We're storytellers at Gideon's, and we have fun. I have a great time every day. That store exists. There he is. He's so cute. And if you can bring up the picture of what might be his lady, if we connect to that story, and that's Bonnie Bray. And her story is a little bit different in that she was a girl who had passed away young, and her parents buried her under an orange tree. And one day, a little hand popped up from her grave, and they pulled her out, and it was her, but with a lemon head.
I mean, let's go into Three Little Ones just because I'm obsessed.
Oh yeah, those are our trick-or-treaters.
They're
those are great.
Yeah,
adorable.
So we released those as a limited edition print set, but also in October, every week at Disney Springs, or every month, we do a different menu postcard that everybody gets in line. And that month, every week, it changed. It was a different trick-or-treater. Yeah. And those things sell for $20 on eBay. And it's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Can I show them the most recent one that just launched on the 1st?
Sure. Yeah, because we were celebrating. We're celebrating Day of the Dead all month
cute.
Long.
That's really
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love that.
If you ever want to expand to Canada, please let me know, and I would love to open up a store for you up here.
That's
that awesome.
Find me a cool little haunted building and we'll talk.
Right?
I'll scan the best parts of Winnipeg for that.
But give me a minute.
I would offer to ship, but it's very explicit on the website of Gideon's Bakehouse. These cookies are not meant to ship. And Steve lectures you as to if you're not going to do it, but there's a good way of doing it, but don't do it. It's great.
Yeah, if we don't have a problem so much anymore, but when we first opened, and even before we opened at Disney Springs, we would get people that offered on their Disney shopping websites to pick up Gideon's cookies, and they would pre-order at East End Market like a couple hundred cookies at a time and ship them all over the place, but they would do it really slow. And then I see these YouTube videos of someone going, I'm going to review a Gideon's Bakehouse cookie, and it's 8 days old, and it's like a crouton that they crack. It makes me crazy, and our product's not packaged to meet FDA regulations, so it's actually part of our pre-order policy that you can't resell the cookie. And if you do, I'm going to come after you. I'm really protective over it.
Well, first off, it's your product, and people are profiting off of your product. They're really not doing much. You have a product, you want to have it come out to the community a certain way and represent yourself well. I don't think anybody on the stream besides me has had Gideon's, because everyone's in different parts of the world at this point. But they're massive. They're half a pound each.
I call them almost half-pound cookies because they will fluctuate in weight based on what the topping is. Some topping weighs more than the other.
I tell you,
cookie bites.
Steve, you'll be mad at me. I didn't even come in for a Frankenstein cookie because I was out of town.
Frankenstein's my least favorite cookie of the year. So that's fine by me.
No, but it's my favorite.
I got a question.
It's everybody's favorite.
Because
sure,
there's a lot of people talk about, working with Disney is kind of tough because of all the red tape and stuff you have to go through and how strict they are. How easy was it for you to get into Disney?
I mean, the process of getting into Disney was long because I'm nobody, So
You are
obviously,
somebody.
well, I mean, I'm certainly if I had to bet, I'm the poorest Disney owner on Disney property. I mean, those are big companies and big people out there for the most part. So I know that they took a chance with me, and I know they're really happy with the outcome.
Well,
Because
but I
we've
mean,
become quite
again,
an
it comes
attraction out
back
there.
to your involvement with being a local, involvement with the community. Like, you were just recognized in a pretty big way.
Yeah,
I was gonna bring that up. I was gonna ask how this came about here because I'm a huge wrestling fan. So
Yeah, I was enjoying a Guy Fawkes Day with my favorite British friend yesterday, and we were discussing, like, is there anything that will ever happen in my life that is as cool as that?
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of anything cooler. So yeah, I am officially an honorary WWE NXT
That's so cool.
Nice.
champion.
I kind
and,
of want them to put you in the ring, though. Like,
and I didn't expect that. It was just this week I went out to the WWE facility here to talk to them about potentially some charity partnerships and stuff. And they had mentioned that they had a little something for me. I did not know that music would start playing and Gideon's logo would be all over the place and laser lights and the crowd would be chanting, "We want cookies." And I would have to get up in the ring, followed by the absolute legend, Shawn Michaels.
yeah.
So I grew up watching wrestling obsessively. My family saw that and knew how surreal that must have been for me because they grew up dealing with me jumping off of everything because I thought I was going to be a wrestler.
But you handled it with, like, such precision. You weren't, like, a nervous Nelly. You were Steve. It was awesome.
No, I never get nervous. I could not stop smiling.
he was like his 6-year-old self again.
Oh,
You could see
I
it.
was
I
to-
would say
it-
you
it-
were.
I mean, who wouldn't?
It really
be?
was.
Proverbial kid in the
Yeah.
I
yeah.
would not have held it.
Standing in the ring with a
that tight.
championship belt around your waist, you got legends on either side of you. It's like, geez, what could be better than this?
Custom
Honest to God.
championship belt that is now in his house and not just hanging up on a wall somewhere. Like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I might
You're a
have
champ,
to.
man. Own up to it.
I might have to walk around with it all the time.
You
I
should.
joked that
and
I
when
was
you walk
gonna.
in anyone's door, you should say, "The champ is here." The
I
champ is here. Just say it. Just say it.
I
If John
told my
Cena
staff.
can do it for 20 years. You can do it for
I
20
did.
minutes.
That's true.
I told the staff I was gonna spray paint it matte black and wear it all the time because there's a little bit too much color in
shiny
it
for you.
for me. Yeah, since you guys caught me in my pajamas, I actually have a not black shirt on today.
So who were some of your favorite wrestlers growing up?
Oh man, I think my first favorite wrestler might have been Ricky Steamboat, followed by Roddy Piper. Was obsessed with all that. I've got a They Live shirt on right now, so
Yes.
I love Roddy Piper. Of course, the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels and all those classics. It was a lot of fun. I remember saving pennies for pay-per-views, and when I got older, I just had no time for anything anymore. So I haven't been able to keep up like I wanted to. But I'm obsessed with facial expression. I always grew up just like anybody with an expressive face and that can emote with their face would just draw me in, and that's wrestling.
Oh yeah.
Like that was my first love of facial expression was watching wrestlers tell a story through their face, and that's always been one of my just hidden little obsessions. I'm almost creepily just looking at everyone's facial expressions.
You must be a really good poker player then.
I've never played poker, so that's a
I
good
want to
question.
try it someday. Maybe you'll win the jackpot.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. I can be pretty deadpan in my face, so.
Mm.
Yeah, it's true. That's my default. Is a blank, empty face.
Oh my God, stop.
So, Omar, Ryan, you guys have any questions here for Steve?
A lot, actually. I was just as far as the bakehouse goes. Where is it in Disney Springs? Like, what's it close to?
We are almost dead center in Disney Springs, and next to Morimoto's, Wine Bar George, Raglan Road. So the four of us make up like that corner of that little walkway. I was kind of stubborn. I wanted a very specific building out there, and pushed really hard to get what I wanted, even though I really had no right to ask for anything. And here I am asking for like the most prominent corner around.
It used to be Harley Davidson, wasn't it?
No, it was a jewelry store originally in that space. But I wanted to put a gargoyle on the roof, and you got to do that on a corner.
Mm-hmm.
So
I gotta tell you, like your whole design, like everything about the aesthetic is everything I love. It's food, it's creepy, that's just me in a nutshell. So I gotta go by and visit. I have to.
And part of the reason why I don't ship or deliver is, one, obviously we have an AM and PM shift that work, 7 days a week. When I think about it, Gideon's is only between the two stores 1,600 square feet, and we have right now 160 employees to keep those going. We move so much product, and what's very unique about what we do, I think, compared to a lot of bakeries, certainly on that level, is every single thing that's made is done the exact same way that I did it in my kitchen when I was selling cookies out of my house. There are no machines. There's just a mixer. It's a handmade process that takes over 24 hours. So I'm stubborn about that, which slows down my productivity, but allows me to really have a great staff and keep employment up. Like during the pandemic, everybody was losing their jobs, and we were looking for 120 people. Yep. And I felt really, really good about that. But, there's limitations to handmade products. So, one, I would never be able to handle the national demand of shipping. But I don't do things for money. I think experience is the real prize. So I'm obsessed with experience. I can't control the experience if I'm shipping you cookies. And to me, the cookies are only one part of the experience. Walking into Gideon's Bakehouse is just as important to that process as eating the cookie. And my staff knows that the third part of that, I call it the holy trinity of the Gideon's Bakehouse experience, is the desserts, the location, and the people.
Your people are incredible.
Thank you. Like I hire people that are literally their job is just stand outside and get to know you. Yep. I talk to them about, what one of my interview questions a lot of the times is, if you see somebody wearing a T-shirt and you're excited to go and talk to them about it, what's on that T-shirt?
Nice.
And there's no wrong answer. I want to know that there's just things that they get excited to talk about. Like you talk to me about cookies, comics, cameras, horror movies. I'm super into cartoons. You're gonna get hours out of me, and I want to know what the trigger points are for my staff. And it's cool out at Disney too, because like I love comics, and everybody's wearing Marvel shirts. I quiz people all the time.
Dude, that sounds like a dream job. Like so I've been working for Starbucks for the last 12 years. I'm working in the wrong place.
Yeah, come on over.
The States, why don't you? Get out of Canada. Do you have any idea how much awesomeness there is here in the States?
So, if somebody's wearing a Mandalorian shirt, I'm going to talk to them about, the latest episode. Yeah, and then I'm going to drill them a little bit. I'm like, so have you watched Clone Wars and Rebels? Because if you haven't, who is Ahsoka Tano to you? You're missing out on so much of the lore that's behind the Mandalorian. So I'm out there trying to do the good work and getting people to watch the good stuff. But I'm always quizzing people like, do you know what comic artist drew that X-Men shirt you're wearing? I hope one of these days someone's gonna.
Always Jim Lee.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start purposely bringing like extreme comic nerds to like walk in front while you're there and be like, and like start quizzing.
I would love it because I worked in that business for a really, really long time, and a lot of my friends are comic artists. I used to collect original comic art, which now is I could sell a gazillion cookies a day and still I can't afford that hobby anymore. But it was a lot of fun, like way back in the day. You talk about MegaCon. I remember, working booths as a MegaCon in the 90s.
We're old.
And it's been a part of my life for a really long time.
So, what are some of your favorite comics?
Oh boy, we're gonna be here all night.
Yeah,
Didn't we say not to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up following a lot of writers, and I love Warren Ellis and Garth Ennis and Transmetropolitan and Preacher and a lot of those darker books. But I grew up. Actually, I think it was really the thing that got me into really hardcore collecting comics was the first that Infinity Gauntlet series with all the crossovers and. That's I had mentioned earlier that I got stuck talking about Thanos for 45 minutes, which I will not do today.
Thank you.
But I really got into collecting comics in the 90s, especially when it was that giant boom of collecting. But it also made me kind of anti-collectible with comics. So when I had my own shop at Uberbot, I didn't carry back issues. I tried to discourage people from chasing the gimmicks and just read and enjoy. And I would invite comic artists to come and have art shows at the gallery, but I wanted them to show off their personal work. I didn't want them to come and do Batman, Superman. I wanted to give them a venue for who they are as artists so that people could see them as, illustrators and artists that they are. And at the time that was harder. This is all, pre-Marvel movies.
Right.
I took on the challenge of trying to get 40-plus-year-old people to read comics when every other, comic shop around was perpetuating that stereotype that comics are for geeks and kids. So I thought I was doing the good work. I loved that shop a lot. It was way ahead of its time, and the recession hit, and I got my ass kicked.
Do you think you might ever do a pop-up for it? That'd be kind of cool. Do a pop-up at Gideon's for it? Bring your two worlds together?
I mean, I want to do an art show at Gideon's for sure.
Awesome.
I'd love to bring some of that community together. I think about it a lot. The trick is, though, that a lot of the things that made Uberbot successful and the things that we did really well can't really be done anymore. Comics are very difficult in a physical medium,
Absolutely.
now. Designer toys were a huge part of what we did, and all of that really cool, like Kid Robot stuff turned into Funko Pop, and it's super mainstream. So I had toys there that were limited to 100 in the world, 500 in the world, and were really just really fantastic collectible pieces of art. And that world is gone. I mean, it still exists, but it's not something that would sustain a business. So I do joke
everyone's out
that
there trying to flip and resell and cut down to what's going to make them the biggest bang on eBay, and that's
very much so. Yeah. So I joke that Uberbot's coming back, but it'll come back when I don't need it to be financially viable. Right. I can hemorrhage money,
not for your wallet. Yeah,
I just do it for fun, and that's that. It's one of these days there'll be a little mountain town that has a Uberbot in it, and me living somewhere in the dark forest outside.
Giving out some free cookies.
And nobody will know where I'm at. I told my staff, I'm like, you guys have me for 1 year after Disney Springs opens up, and then I disappear into the mountains.
Bye.
Yeah, see, when we moved here from Las Vegas in 2012, I think one of the coolest comic book shops in the Central Florida area was the original Gods and Monsters.
Yeah.
It was so huge, and they would have live concerts in there, and they had the full bar and all that. I thought that was really cool.
I mean, the new location for Untitled are great, though. They have the Vault 5421, and it's a post-apocalyptic. I mean, it's not as massive, but it's still the heart and soul of what Gods and Monsters was. I think the location was almost too big because people took advantage of it and stole a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it was really big. They actually asked me to open up Uberbot inside of Gods and Monsters way back in the day. Yeah, and then but I was already mentally kind of thinking Gideon's at that time.
Yeah.
So then the venue, Artagon, was basically giving away space, and I could have done Gideon's there as well, but I didn't want to. I was
Good thing
actually
you
very
did not.
picky. I was very, very picky about where the first Gideon's open, because if I'm anything, I'm a branding brain, so I do have a good sense of the importance. Like East End Market was a great choice because East End as a brand in Central Florida is a very respected and positive place. And by putting Gideon's in there, I was immediately part of that. And I took that to the next level with, Disney Springs.
Right.
That overnight turned Gideon's into an international brand. So it was it was a very difficult, long road to get there. Probably took 15 years off of my life to
think
pull it
about
off,
your
but-
opening day. You had the entire locals community. I don't know if anyone saw pictures or video from opening day, because Steve and you and I talked about it for a hot minute. They were lined up. So I think the parking garages opened at like 9. They were lined up at the parking garages waiting to get in at like 6 a.m. And
people were running out of the road into the park past security.
And
it was crazy.
They were lined up. So where his location is, it's towards the back over like Boathouse, Raglan Road, Morimoto. The line went from in front of your location all the way down and around. I think the farthest I saw it go was all the way to the orange parking garage, because that was in front of the movie theater.
Yeah, past that and went almost to the Polite Pig. So it went through the underpass. And
it was like 8 hours or something.
It ended up being, I think we opened it I think we ended up opening at like 9:30, as early as we could.
Early.
But by 10:30, I believe I had to post online that it was a 12-hour virtual wait, which was madness. So I never expected, like I knew it was going to be busy out there. East End Market, a couple weekends ago, it was a hour-long wait to get a cookie at East End Market,
an hour-long wait
and
sometimes.
and that's not a theme park. So if you throw in all of the theme park crowds, it multiplies. And I knew that was going to happen, but luckily
Meanwhile,
the 12-hour
my
thing
friend
only happened
Rebecca,
once.
who's tuned in, is like, you need to send me cookies, because what I do is I freeze them and I cut them into 4 pieces. And so tell Steve that you need to send me a cookie. And I'm like, okay. Steve, I'm going to send Rebecca a cookie in Tennessee. Is that okay?
Rebecca, just come and see us, because the real Gideon's experience happens inside of that building. You
He's
get a
going
fresh
to be
cookie.
here in 2 weeks, and
All
I'm
right,
taking
yeah.
it.
So that's what's up. Then you get to pair a cold brew with a cookie, little peanut butter cold brew, a triple chocolate cookie. Life is good.
Yeah.
Peanut butter cold brew.
It's word of mouth. Word of mouth still works, which is really great. So I'm going to ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever been asked this, but if Gideon's was to be transplanted to any fictional realm, where do you see Gideon's?
Ooh.
It could be the Marvel universe, the DC universe, the Star Wars
It's like
universe.
fantasy football now.
Yeah, it's funny because Gideon's exists in its own universe in my head.
Oh my God,
So
that'd be amazing.
if you were to ask
You're the
Mike
Kevin
and I,
Feige. That's it.
yeah, Mike, the artist that does all of the work in the space, he had his first art show at Uberbot, and we met then, and we've been best friends ever since. I actually met him at MegaCon.
Really?
Yeah, he had a little booth at MegaCon, and I loved his art, and I said, hey,
It's amazing.
come and have a gallery show at my gallery, and we've talked on the phone almost daily ever since then, and maybe 15 years ago, we started talking about Gideon's as a branding exercise, like just for fun, and
Nice.
how much fun it would be to write like creepy little children's books with all these characters.
Man.
So like there's a little bit of a path for some of these characters that come out, and maybe someday, if things go the way I'd love, we will get those children's books out. I'd love to see an
Yes.
animation. I'd love to see that kind of stuff. I'd love to be able to have that level of creative opportunity, which will make those postcards and stickers super collectible if I ever pull that off.
They're collectible because my friend put them out, okay? Not because they're worth any money on eBay. And I'm very proud to have a good majority of them. Yeah.
That's the art gallery brain in me. I can't help it.
Magnets would be cool too. My friend Tom Hutchinson, who runs Big Dog Inc., when he does a lot of his Kickstarters, he'll do stickers and magnets and stuff of the characters.
Steve's got stickers and button.
Yeah,
I haven't done
I was
magnets
just
yet,
looking
but I
at
want to.
his merchandise.
He's got swag laying around somewhere.
I'm waiting for a zip-up hoodie, Steve. Can I put that on the request sheet, please?
It's already in the works.
I'm just scanning his merchandise stuff.
Oh, the
and
merch?
it's so beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I love that glow in the dark
Okay.
black cat pin.
It's gorgeous.
And
When it came
the
out, I died.
candles. Have you had the candles yet, Heather? Have you
Yes.
obsessed over that? Yeah.
Yes.
And you know that those are done by Wash and Wick, which is a local
Yes.
husband and wife that make them out of their garage.
Yep.
And we're moving hundreds and hundreds of candles a week for them. And I love it. So like the original one that they did for us was the coffee cake cookie candle, which legit smells like that coffee cake cookie when it comes
It's
out of the oven.
Amazing.
Oh, I love
like,
it
you
so much.
can't- I don't know how they managed to do that. Like, I'm almost convinced they took your cookies, like, crumbled them up, and somehow turned them into wax and put a wick. Like, that's
It
what it is.
really they might have. I haven't been to the garage. There might be some dark magics going on in there.
It would be a
But,
possibility.
But I'm so proud of them and the work that they do, and
You just
I love
passed my
that.
favorite one.
Which one was your
which
favorite?
Pipistrello.
Senor de Pipistrello.
He's so adorable. Go down a little bit more.
The gentleman bat.
Yes, he's so adorable.
So we have a cookie for him that's the dark. I love the coffee cake cookie, but it's a really hard cookie to make. And so it became a morning exclusive at the East End Market. I'm sorry, at the Disney Springs location.
Okay.
So
But I will say that I do have to go to Disney Springs for like my peanut butter cold brew.
Peanut butter cold brew,
I'm not a coffee person. I am a changed woman because of that peanut butter cold brew, dude. Like, it's not even.
I cannot tell you how many people say to me every day, I don't even like coffee and I'm obsessed with this. But I'm not a massive coffee drinker. I don't drink hot
No, you're
coffee.
not.
Like I'm a cold
Right.
brew iced latte person. We use Lineage Bean and they help us put together everything for that store. And Lineage is another local brewer and roaster that's just they are obsessed. Like they're as real deal as a coffee roaster could ever be real deal. And so on one side of the spectrum, I had the most hardcore coffee people in the history of coffee, and then Mr. Cookie over here. And I tried to I worked on that
Mr.
peanut butter.
Cookie from now on.
Please don't do that. It took me a long time to get rid of Cookie Jesus was what Boston Globe called me. I
haven't heard that one yet,
I have people calling me Cookie Jesus forever. Tonda at La Femme du Fromage across from me,
I love her.
she would not stop putting the Cookie Jesus out there. But we worked really hard to make sure that the cold brews made both the people at Lineage really proud and the people that didn't drink coffee at Gideon's. I got to bring in people that don't drink coffee at all. Go, oh my gosh, okay, I'm into this. And that's
What has
where
the oat milk and the honey?
it's oat milk,
and
maple syrup. I tried to. We switched the honey to maple syrup just to make it vegan because it was so close, and the flavor profile between honey and maple syrup was nothing.
Now, for
I
your
really
coffee,
probably have like another hour and a half. So I should probably.
for your coffee, do you like have your own type of coffee, or do you outsource it from another?
We use Lineage beans, so
Okay.
it's all locally roasted, but it's our recipe, it's our formula for the cold brew. The way that we do it at Gideon's is we have our cold brew, our classic cold brew on tap, and it's just that locally roasted bean, oat milk, and maple syrup, and that perfectly balanced mix. And we'll get people that are like, "Hey, can I get it with honey instead? Can I get it with no this? Can I get no?" It's just, that's the one thing about Gideon's.
Customers coming into your store and demanding that.
And there's
it up a little bit.
we don't get it a lot anymore because I think people as they get to know us realize that Gideon's is Gideon's. Period. There's not anything that you're going to be able to do to alter it. So the core is on tap, and then we make sauces that create the other flavor profiles. And it's all things that are made in-house, and that creates, we make them like cocktails. So we do a peanut butter cold brew, which is something that I worked on for 7+ years. It's very special to me, and there's no junk in it. It's made from surprise
It's healthy.
peanuts.
It's healthy to drink.
Yeah, it's
Steve.
actually not that bad. Like I didn't want to do a cold brew that was a gazillion calories and filled with sugar on top of the cookies. So it is a really nice balance. We do now a pumpkin chai, which was new, but we're going to keep it around.
Nice.
And a cookies and cream cold brew, which that's something that I did just for the people because that's not my thing. Cookies and cream's a little too sweet for me.
Wait, no.
I think somebody else has that trademark in Orlando.
You're moving down to Florida tomorrow, right, Willow, to see all this?
You know what?
Down here tomorrow, right?
He's inspiring me. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
Really, if I can't inspire you, I don't. If he can't inspire you, I don't know what will. Get your keister down here, for Pete's sake.
All right, so
I need to figure out how to win the lottery now.
I was gonna say, so Steve, you got two very well-known bakehouses. You have an NXT championship. What's next on the bucket list? I mean, what's next for you?
Well, Disney Springs feels like it just opened the other day. I mean, we're only just coming up on our first year, so it's there's a lot to learn in that first year that I think we've really gotten a good grasp on. I have no desire to open up a gazillion Gideons. I won't franchise. I'm not going to do anything like that. So I guess the question is, where would it make sense to grow Gideons? And I'm not really sure I know the answer to that question yet.
I think those children's books are down that path.
Yeah, and I mean that's a given. But I mean, I do want to open up another Gideons because I'm already antsy to build something.
Yeah.
I've got some ideas for sister stores for Gideons.
Willow's got a place in Canada for you.
Yeah, so let me know.
Place right by there.
I think you would do really well in the Exchange District in downtown Winnipeg.
So, but I was going to say that my biggest, to me, the biggest challenge next for Gideons would be to open up in another country.
Canada's another country.
Because logistically, I don't.
Count, so just go north of the border. You'll be fine.
But
I will keep in contact with you, and I'll show you buildings.
I mean, Willow's going to be your spokesperson and your public liaison.
Going to be your real estate
you got
agent.
a good headway already there, Steve, man.
Yeah, just start sending me photos of scary looking buildings, and I'll come and look. Give me an excuse.
Be like, who the hell is this? What is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. Give me an excuse to come to Canada, please.
If they can make creepy Hallmark movies up there, I mean, they can do a heck of a lot more. Trust me.
That's where they do the Hallmark movies in Canada.
Dude, every single one of them is filmed in Willow's backyard.
Yes, they do.
They're literally always filmed
They
in
were
Willow's
just working
backyard.
on one not that long ago. I think they're still filming up here.
See?
That's awesome.
I gave into the Netflix gods, and before streaming tonight, I started watching a Christmas movie. And it's
too early.
Everyone's doing it. It's fine.
It's too early. I started watching. I was like, no Christmas music, no Halloween. It's still Halloween. It's still Halloween.
There's no shame. No.
No.
Can I ask a question of you, Steve?
Please, I feel like I'm taking up the time of all
you're
of.
going
There's
to take
so many
6
people here.
hours of my airtime, but that's all right. I get it back next Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern, where you can follow us on all forms of social media. It's simply at It's Nerd Culture. # always promote your stuff. So, Steve, let me put it to you this way, brother. Everyone has their Mount Rushmore, so let's go into Mount Rushmore a little bit. Normally there's 4 faces, but I'm going to let you have 5 because you're a nice guy.
Wow.
So you got 5 faces on Mount Rushmore. I want you to pick your top 5 favorite graphic novels that you would put on your Mount Rushmore. Go for it.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna say Transmetropolitan. Have you read that one? Are you familiar with Transmetropolitan?
I have no idea what the frack that is, but I look forward
you never
to
read
learning about it
Transmetropolitan?
after the show.
Transmetropolitan is a Warren Ellis book that was kind of about a superstar reporter in the future. His name is Spider Jerusalem, and he's essentially a Hunter S. Thompson character. So I'm kind of politically minded. Warren Ellis is just a really interesting writer, and it's a really interesting, dark, funny book. So Transmetropolitan, go. Like you got to watch that. I really did love Preacher. The TV show I couldn't do, but I thought Preacher was fantastic. Wow,
I know that
graphic novels. right now I'm caught up on Solo. Solo is amazing. Invincible, I think is Kirkman's best work.
Yep.
Wow. Of course, as I mentioned, Infinity Gauntlet holds a special place in my heart.
It is inevitable, yeah.
And the entire Hellboy hardcover collection. Like I love Mike Mignola.
Oh,
yeah,
Mignola. All right.
Yeah, he's a huge influence to me. There's a little pieces of him obviously in Gideon's, but there is a sister concept that I've been working on in the back of my head, and that takes a little bit more of that Mignola influence and puts it out there.
Yeah.
But like, there's so many that thinking of 5. Like I've been reading comics for so long, and I've also completely fallen out of things because I've been working for 5 years straight.
You work?
And I'm sorry, and I'd said the Solo, but I meant Saga. Saga.
Oh, you
is
mean
the
Saga?
book
Okay.
yeah, Saga.
Yeah, I feel
yeah,
you.
that Saga is one of the newer books that I've tried to catch up on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have a lot of time to read comics. I really did like the Invincible animation. I thought it was very well done. I just try to I can only find time to watch animation these days. So I get my art, and I've originally, when I moved to Orlando, I wanted to open up an anime store because no such thing existed back in that day. I ended up still in the realm of comics, but with a lot of import Japanese horror movies and anime and all that stuff. So I find myself more influenced these days by a lot of what's going on in animation, like Over the Garden Wall. I can't stop thinking about that. I was trying to get everybody to watch that for Halloween this year. And if anybody here has not seen Over the Garden Wall yet, you have to go and watch it. It's to me, it's the perfect It's 10 episodes, about 10 minutes per episode. That tells the story of these two boys that get lost in the woods, and it's almost like Dante's Inferno, in like a kid's story. And I'm obsessed with it.
Nice.
It's really, really, really good. There it is. Yeah, really, really great. And the guy that wrote that is now writing a movie script with Guillermo del Toro. So that says a little bit about where what circles he runs in. And of course, Guillermo del Toro is
speaking of
amazing.
Hellboy, he may have a little bit of experience with that property, just a little bit.
Indeed, yeah. But what I love about Guillermo del Toro is like I love Hellboy. I loved Shape of Water. I love Pacific Rim. Like these are very different movies. Yeah, I love all of his Spanish movies. I go back to Kronos, his first movie. Devil's Backbone. I love his Spanish films because his Hollywood films have a different feel, except for Shape of Water. I think falls more on that Pan's Labyrinth. Yeah, it was really, really great. And all my love to Doug Jones.
I was just going to say, he is by far my favorite. And I was telling Brian the other day, he is appearing at House of Mouse Expo, which is coming up soon.
Oh, yeah?
And I literally texted Brian. I was like, I don't care. And I'm not into meeting celebrities. I'm not an autograph hound. I don't need a picture. Really? I just want to literally look at the man and be like, thank you. Because he shaped my childhood and my adulthood.
Everything. He's everywhere.
He's been in everything.
Like What We Do in the Shadows.
He's been in everything.
Yeah. He's so great in What We Do in the Shadows. Like that character is the best. A lot of people don't even
realize it's him.
Yeah. He's so funny.
Falling Skies.
Yeah, so that was just off the top of my head. But after we stop talking, 20 more graphic novels that you have to read.
Send them over.
just send them over to via DM. I don't care. Facebook, everyone's on there 24/7.
You guys just want him to be your Facebook friend. It's fine.
Yeah, but a lot of it depends on like I remember like people would come in and they wanted to read like superhero comics and I loved the Ultimates, which is what the Marvel universe was kind of built off of, which is a Mark Miller. A Brian Hitch story, and they did a great job with that. It kind of reinvented the Marvel universe in the modern sense. That's where the idea of like the Hulk not being a gamma bomb creation, but being a botched Captain America came from, and I love that. I thought it was really, really cool. So if people were into superhero comics, I would lead them down that realm. If they weren't into superhero comics, I would, give them something more like Fables or Y the Last Man.
Nice.
I read volume 1 of Y the Last Man. That's some crazy shit. Excuse my language,
it's
but
so
it's good stuff.
it's so good. It's so good, and they just canceled the TV show that took a decade to get made because it was terrible. Like, it just didn't have the feel, and I was really disappointed because it's such a great story. I'm surprised
that's a show that's been in rewrites for like
forever.
The last 10 years.
Which one?
Yeah.
Why
the Last Man?
Wait,
Yeah,
they canceled that already?
Yeah,
Yes.
they canceled it.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, man, I haven't even seen it yet. Holy crap.
I don't even
go
think they're
into
going
it,
to
but
finish
it's
I don't even think they're going to finish the first season. It just stopped.
Yeah.
God, really? Jeez. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Rick,
It
what's
got
my
such
my
a
boy Rick
bad
Shea, of
audience
Famous Faces
review.
and Funnies, was like dying to see that.
Yep. And then it fizzled.
They had a heck of a cast, though. Had Diane Lane, Mama Kent. You had
Really, really
was
good.
it Amber Tamblyn was in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
I think that's part of
AKA
the
Joan of
problem, though,
Arcadia,
is that they
underrated
had
show, by the
all
way.
those people and then they couldn't retain them.
Well, now I want to
maybe,
know,
yeah.
Steve, have you seen Immortals yet?
The Eternals.
Eternals. Why did I say Immortals?
Yeah,
Eternals.
I
Well,
saw it
Immortals
last
was a
night.
good film with Henry Cavill,
Did you?
though, Heather.
Yes.
I saw it last night, and I enjoyed it. So here's my thing with comic movies, and this is definitely a movie that in my opinion shows the path that we're on or the issues that we're running into. Is if I transported back 20 years and then came forward and saw Captain America, Winter Soldier, or Guardians, like any single Marvel movie, even Thor: The Dark World, I would have freaked out that I got such an amazing thing. Like, I would never have imagined that comics would have gone not only mainstream, but that I'm able to see so much of my childhood on the big screen.
Right.
So I'm not as quick to tear everything to pieces. And I know that Eternals is getting, like, it's the lowest rated Marvel movie so far.
They're the first Marvel movie to have a Rotten Tomatoes score, and I'm like,
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
that's-
Wow.
Yeah.
But the
I gotta
audience
tell ya,
score is actually higher.
Yeah.
I think it's complete BS. I think that people are just waiting to, like, Marvel's gotten so big that they're anxious to tear it down a little bit, and that's the society that we live in right now.
Yeah.
But
that's
the Eternals is very character driven.
It's very Jack Kirby, and I love that. I love the cosmic stuff, so it gets deep.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
I liked the story. Did I like the direction? I can nitpick and like wonder what it could have been like with different directing style or a different look. But I enjoyed myself. Like it's. I'm not going to tell you it was my favorite Marvel movie, but
Right.
but it's good to know somebody that knows so much and cares so much to say, go see it.
Yeah, I thought it was certainly worth enjoying and watching, and I'm curious to see what they do next with it. So I want to see more of those characters. But recently I saw some Nicolas Cage movie. Let me see what this was called.
Another direct-to-video Nicolas Cage movie.
And I'm going to preface this by saying I love watching Nicolas Cage movies. Like, I love cheesy movies and let's see. It was called. What was it called?
I mean, hey man, look, this may not have been a direct-to-video, but I'm still a big fan of Gone in 60 Seconds. And I don't care what the haters say. I love that.
No, I mean, Mandy was amazing. Pig was made me cry. There was a scene. Did you guys?
I thought Joe was
really good.
Did you guys see Pig?
I don't even know what that is.
No.
I've
Yeah, it
seen
was
I haven't been to a
it.
movie theater in over
But
2
not
years,
actual.
man. I don't know what's going on.
Shame on you.
Well, I'm
I'm gonna
sorry,
find-
but a little thing called the apocalypse happened, and I don't feel comfortable going to theaters for a good while. So I'm sorry. But
All right,
the
now I don't mean to do
apocalypse
this. I don't mean to do this to Nicolas Cage, but I recently watched a movie called Prisoners of the Ghostland.
happened. Willikers, I never heard of that.
And it was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. It was unwatchable.
Wait,
Hey,
what
I
is
watched
this
it-
called?
Dude,
It's
is
called
it a literal dumpster fire?
Yeah, it's not even like it's not even so bad that it's fun to watch. I mean, I guess it
Yeah.
could be, but I like if I don't like a movie, I will get up and pace and sigh and shift and look at my phone.
Oh,
And
man.
I rented this movie, and it was effing
The
awful.
artwork looks kind of cool, so I would have seen it, but like,
Yeah, like I was really excited for it. The trailer looks great.
Yeah, that looks
Oh, man.
that poster right there. That looks weird.
So
Did
that
you see
movie,
Color Out of Space? That was pretty good.
I actually love Color. I'm a H.P. Lovecraft nerd, and that's a Lovecraft short story.
You
so
are.
I
would
thought it was
never
very
have been
beautifully
able
done.
to tell with
I know,
anything.
right? And also the director. You guys have the biggest nerd here tonight. I'm so sorry, but the director of Color of Space is the guy that did Island of Dr. Moreau, and it's the first movie that he's made since Island of Dr. Moreau, which in of itself is pure madness. But Prisoners of the Ghostland got 64% on Rotten Tomatoes. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life. Eternals is at 48%. So I almost would challenge you to watch those two movies.
But I don't want to if it sucks.
Yeah, well, and then see where
I'll
the
watch
whole
Eternals because it's MCU, but outside of that, it's like
But if Steve says this is the worst movie I've ever seen, let me go watch it. I'm so excited. Like that's not.
I don't know if I can be seduced by that dark side of the Force, Heather, but stranger things have happened in my life. Like I've seen movies that have like 10, 11, 12, 20% ratings on RT, and I'm like, I don't know what you people were smoking that day, but this movie's fun, jackass. Get out of here.
Well, it could be worse.
Half of my favorite movies have like low
too.
ratings. Like Captain Ron, it has like a 22, 28% rating. I'm like, that's one of the funniest comedies of all time. I mean, Captain Ron, dude, come on.
I'm surprised I haven't seen that movie, considering how bad I was at how bad I was at renting really bad movies.
Which movie are you talking about, Willow?
Well, Captain Ron I actually enjoyed. But,
okay. I was gonna say, like, how can you not enjoy Kurt Russell just being cool and Kurt Russell? Come on.
that one movie that you guys were talking about.
I mean, they talk about Pirates of the Caribbean. Been to Disney World one too many times, sadly, Captain Ron. I haven't believed I've ever been to Disney World. I mean, I've been to Hollywood.
That says great one-liners out of there.
You can't change the wind.
That's what happens, Heather. When I watch something once or twice, the whole script goes right into my noggin.
Oh, dear God. What were you saying, Steve?
I want to know what everybody's favorite MCU movie is here and why.
Ooh! All right, now I can really dive in. I can dive into this question all night, brother.
I will make it easier by removing the Endgame, Infinity movies because that's like the accumulation of everything, so they should be set aside.
Winter Soldier.
So you're saying the team-up movies don't count?
No,
just those, just
Soldier.
the two Thanos. Because those are like just Endgame and Infinity.
Oh God.
No, Winter Soldier, Captain America, Winter Soldier.
Yeah. I mean, if we can't pick Infinity War because that is inevitable, and Thanos is one of the best villains of all time, arguably, I would say Winter Soldier. Hands down.
I guess we have two
solo movie ever.
We have two. History. Look at we got some cat action going on.
Winter
Well,
Soldier.
I'm sorry, but I mean, when I think of MCU outside of the Avengers, like Winter Soldier's like badass mother effer that you don't mess with.
Omar, what you got? What's your favorite MCU movie?
I think Winter Soldier is probably the best MCU movie, but as
we're
far
all
as my
cheating
favorite,
off of Heather's paper.
My favorite's probably going to be either Guardians Volume 2 because of the great Kurt Russell, or Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
Taika Waititi.
Immigrant Song.
Ragnarok came out of nowhere for me. Like I knew Taika Waititi because of What We Do in the Shadows and Eagle versus Shark, but I never expected that movie to come out.
So you're a big Kurt Russell fan.
Huge Kurt Russell fan.
All right, what's your favorite Kurt Russell movie? Let's get into this.
Little China.
Oh my God,
that's
Bring
a classic.
it on, Steve. Bring it on.
Yeah. I've got
everybody all these roundtable questions.
Coming to a podcast near you. The newly rebranded Pork Chop Express will be my horror and pop culture podcast that will be coming soon.
All right.
Always promote your stuff, Omar. Respect, man. Respect.
Yeah. And Big Trouble's a great answer. I love John Carpenter. The Thing might be mine. So
if we don't make it by morning, call the president.
I think
okay. I have a vote to pick with people right now. Hold on, because
Guardians is a good one too.
Guardians Volume 1 is my favorite Marvel movie, but
great movie.
But I have to say that The Thing with Kurt Russell is the most dissatisfying movie I've ever watched in my life.
What? Dissatisfying.
I was so excited, and I got to the last 10 minutes of the damn movie, and I was like, that's it? What did I miss? Like, I missed something. And I'm like,
Look at
No,
Brian's
the ending kind of sucks.
The ending sucks.
The movie is great.
It's kind of a bummer ending, yeah.
It's a bummer ending, but it's perfect.
But
it's
I live
perfect.
with it because it's like, well, which one of us is the thing, and who's going to be the next one to die? So it's kind of negative 50 below.
I guess I missed that. Like, I didn't read far enough into the end.
Yeah, it's the age-old question. Like,
it's like
just leaves you in that
or
state
his
of
best friend
isolation.
sitting across from him is the next thing. We don't know.
And my Tennessee friends are voting on Marvel movies. I've got more for you after Kurt Russell.
I will say it is one of the best horror films.
I read into movies all the time. Like, I'm super, like, I look for the most, deepest, ridiculous reason for why they did what they did and all that nonsense. But
you gotta have a sequel these days, Sydney.
I was dissatisfied.
Okay, Kurt Russell forgives you. It's okay.
Did you just? What did you just quote?
I quoted something that came out in '96. Don't worry about it.
Did you just quote Scream?
Yes, because these days, Sydney, you gotta have a sequel.
I love you. I love you so much.
I'm squirreling you guys like crazy. We haven't finished the best Marvel movie across the board here. Right. So we've got Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier, Winter Soldier.
Guardians.
No, you got Thor Ragnarok.
Guardians Part 2.
I agree with Omar. Ragnarok is one of the
Ragnarok, yeah.
One of the guest
We have votes from the viewers. Jordan says Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Rebecca, his wife, says Black Panther.
Ooh, respect to Chadwick. Respect to Chadwick. Okay.
All right.
Like, how do you pick one?
So my favorite Marvel film, because James Gunn's a genius, is Guardians Volume 1.
Or because your wife said
I do have to say Civil War.
Yeah.
Civil War
has
is
nothing
right
to do with me.
You got to be twins. You're like, honey, if I say this, you got to repeat what I said.
Dude, I introduced her to James Gunn, so
it's the only reason I went and saw Guardians is because he was like, you have to know what's happening right now. And
I bought these Funko Pops. They're on my shelf. And if you don't see the movie, you're not going to understand why I love these Pops so much, honey.
James Gunn is a super genius.
Before the Pops. I happened before the Pops.
Oh, you did? Okay, I wasn't too sure. Sorry, Steve. What's your favorite?
Thank God they haven't overrun me yet.
Wrangle the cats. Wrangle the cats. Steve, what's your favorite?
Come on, Steve. What's your favorite?
My friends, it's Winter Soldier. It's a perfect movie.
Dude, it's so good.
But also, what makes Winter Soldier so great, and what makes the Captain America movies as a whole so great, is that, like, Tony Stark in the MCU is not Tony Stark in the comics. At least he wasn't. They've kind of brought them together a little bit now.
Right.
The Hulk's different. Everybody's different. Guardian of the Galaxy is certainly different. Even Thanos is very different in the MCU than he is in the comics. His motivations are very different.
Yeah.
But Captain America is pure Captain America from page to screen. Mm-hmm. And as a comic lover, I really, really appreciated how they handled that character, and that movie is accessible to anybody. Like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm a huge James Gunn nerd. Slither is one of my favorite movies.
Nice.
Yes.
But it's not as accessible to a non-comic reader like a Captain America Winter Soldier is. So Captain America Winter Soldier, I think, is a great gateway movie for people to get them curious and into the Marvel universe, but it's also just a fantastic movie and a perfect representation of the ideals that are Captain America. I'm sorry, guys, I'm a huge nerd.
No, Jennifer, apologize
here.
Look, man, a great film is a great film, and that's what Winter Soldier is, hand over fist. I mean, seriously, guy, run it on your left. You can poke fun at your friends at that. If you're running faster than them, just say on your left. You know what I'm saying? Someone says, hey, I got to add this to the list. You pull out your little notebook in the back pocket, Steve. You're like, I'll add it to the list. And then you write it down.
It's the movie that really pushed Sebastian Stan as an actor. Like, I love Sebastian Stan since Once Upon a Time.
I called him on that. I was like, damn, boy, you really did good for yourself. Going from a one-star
I've been watching him, who was it? Not Covenant. Was it Covenant? He's been doing stuff forever. And people are just like, oh, whatever, that cute guy. And then, like, Winter Soldier and, like, Bucky Barnes are like, whoa.
You're talking about the Witch movie, right, Heather?
Yes, the Witch movie.
The Covenant? Yeah. What does he say? I'll make you my weotch? Like, what is that?
Something weird.
The dumbest lines ever uttered in film, but it's funny.
Steve said, it's one of the most well adapted of the MCU movies. Also, as far as from comic to screen, if anyone had ever picked up Ed Brubaker's Captain America run, they pretty much put that bad boy on screen. It's amazing. Yeah. It's the most James Bondian comic I've ever read.
you know, it's incredible.
Said that, like Ken Knapsack or one of those guys over at formerly known as Collider. Someone said that. I was like, damn, yeah, it makes a lot of sense because it's a political thriller, really, that film, and that's why it makes it so good.
I've been asked to ask the panelists here, best horror movie since we're coming out of Halloween. What is everyone's favorite horror movie and why? I'll take a note from Steve.
Sure, you're pulling a ghost face. What's your favorite scary movie, right? Robert Jackson, what's up, buddy?
I will let the others go first.
Okay.
Brian, let's start at the top.
Oh, man.
Go ahead, Brian. You like horror more than anybody I know, which creeps me the frack out, but go ahead.
I mean, there's so many great horror movies, but like I sound like a broken record along with the thousands of other people. Is the original Halloween?
There it is. There it is.
But it's kind of like it's like a 1A and a 1B is Friday the 13th, the original Friday the 13th, and Halloween. I put them neck and neck.
I'm not surprised.
Why?
Oh God.
Well, first of all,
you just made this podcast an hour long. Thank you very much.
In 2 paragraphs or less, Brian.
2 minutes or less.
All right, so Halloween, first of all, it's John Carpenter, and the style of filmmaking he did with that kind of Alfred Hitchcock style. You know, I love Hitchcock, so like The Birds and Psycho and all that. So Halloween was just perfect cinema. Not just a horror film. And Friday the 13th.
Your favorite because it's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, it's perfect. Friday the 13th because it's fun and it's slasher. I mean,
Nicole.
I have 2.
Okay.
So I have I guess one of them is probably really not a horror movie, but it might be. I don't know.
I'll be the judge.
So I absolutely 1000% will always love Scream. And like I watched it when it first came out. It was my thing. Maybe not the 800 sequels that came after it, but I'm really excited about the new one. So I love that one. And then
I have a really embarrassing story about Scream I'm going to share with you because I feel like being very open tonight. So I was 14 when that movie came out. 15. I was in the movie theater with a boy I had a crush on and my best friend. And we're watching the movie. And you know the part with, spoiler alert, where the doggy door, she like goes to crawl through the doggy door in the garage door. And I've never gotten scared at horror movies. Like I saw Nightmare on Elm Street when I was a child. That was my first introduction to it. And so this blonde is like crawling through the doggy door and it goes up and everyone's like, oh no. And I'm like, she can't be dead. Is she dead? And I was so confused. Like, why is she dead? The doggy door should have just dropped her. And I was like, I have a sick, twisted mind, I guess. But I was very loud in that proclamation to the movie theater that was silent, that a character had just been killed in that way. And I just kind of sat there and like slumped in my chair, like put my hood up, like, don't look at me. Needless to say, the boy didn't like me back after that one.
Oh. I just love how it's meta. And Jamie Kennedy, that's all I've got to say. Like, I realize he's a comedian, but there's something about that ensemble of the cast that. Did
you see? But he said that character's dead. He's not coming.
Yeah. I was really sad about that.
He died in the
However, he was on a morning show that I listened to, and he really did say that he was excited about the new one coming out and how it was. It was kind of it brought everybody kind of back and into that that world again. And so I was really excited. Like I liked them all, but I really liked the original most. And I think if I ever meet Ski and Matthew Lillard, I think I might die. Like honestly,
Matthew Lillard will forever be like hackers.
Was there any doubt that he wasn't perfect to play Shaggy though?
Oh, perfect.
Oh my god, he was perfect.
Come on.
He was perfect.
I'm telling you, Stu is showing up in that movie.
Stu probably is.
Stu's not dead.
But however,
sure, Brian. Let's listen to your conspiracy theories.
Okay, hold on. So I have one side note. Okay, so did anybody see the post of Ski Ulrich now?
Yes.
Yes.
No. No.
I was like,
What, did he shave his beard or something?
No.
I'm so glad
he grew a beard and it looks so much better.
Oh, he grew it. Okay.
Like the greasy 90s thing is gone. He has a beard, and I'm like, la la la. So yeah, but the greasy 90s thing is gone. Like the why does he have to look
can
like
I
Johnny
just say
Depp
that
and gross?
I'm a child. I will still watch Riverdale, and he looks great in Riverdale.
Yeah, that's what my mom watches it for. The plot.
That photo right there.
Oh wow!
Oh my God!
Not too shabby there,
Wait,
Skeet.
there's
Not
a
too
plot
shabby.
in that show.
That one.
I didn't even know he was in the show. Well, that's because I don't watch a whole lot of TV anymore. Sorry, the world's changed. But yeah, wow, that's good for you, Skeet. Still getting paychecks, brother.
However, I do have to say that I am not a Riverdale fan.
I've never seen it.
I don't know that I ever will be. Like
it's Archie Comics.
R.I.P. Luke Perry, though.
I tried watching the first 2 seasons, and then I had to jump off.
I really like Sabrina. I really like Sabrina, the Netflix Sabrina.
The Thrilling Adventures of Sabrina, yeah.
But there's something about being able to watch Riverdale. Like, I don't know why I only think about the redheaded. Like, I only think about Archie when Archie first came out. And I just don't think that I could wrap my brain around an alternate that. I just don't think I can. Like, I had a hard time with Smallville the first season, and then I ultimately fell in love with it. So maybe if I gave it a chance, but I have so many other things that I'd rather watch.
Touche.
Here's the problem with Riverdale.
Happy 20th anniversary, Smallville.
The best actor died in that show.
Yeah, he did. That was sad. That was some sad shit.
I have
Steve,
to
you're
say,
very
though,
quiet. What are you feeling over there, my friend?
What's his name?
We're all going through these horror movies. I'm waiting for everybody else's. I'm listening.
Sorry.
You're down below.
Sorry. I ran.
Oh no, that's quite all right.
Your turn.
For me, it would be Evil Dead 2.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. So Evil Dead 2 to me, and I love Sam Raimi. I'm so in awe of. I think we did a while ago, Omar. Just the beauty of the shape of your head alone has got me. Sam Raimi and the way that he shoots the audio in his movies, you know, as a music major that was just obsessed and listening to a lot of Foley work. I was just in awe of the audio in his movies, the way that he used sound effects. But Evil Dead 2 is really the first real fun horror movie that I ever saw that was just over the top with its gore. Bruce Campbell's a genius. I got to spend a day with Bruce Campbell once, which was amazing.
What? How?
Going a little deep dive is when I moved to Orlando to open up UberBot, I didn't know anything about anything, so I had to go start working for comic book stores. And I opened up the Coliseum of Comics originally in the Fashion Square Mall, where Bruce Campbell had just wrote his first book called If Chins Could Kill, and we hosted Bruce Campbell on Halloween, and thousands of people showed up. Wow. So and I was not prepared for that. So Bruce Campbell really helped me understand what it meant to handle a crowd like that.
That's awesome.
Because we needed help, and he was, he knew what that life was all about, and he was super cool and gave us a lot of just very caring advice. And I enjoy. I like you. You said you're not somebody that like fanboys over.
Oh yeah.
Over So and I don't do signatures and all that stuff either. I've already met a ridiculous amount of celebrities out at Disney Springs, and it's okay, cool.
Nice to meet you. You're good at your job.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming to Gideon's. I'm excited to know that.
When you met Bruce, was he paying people dollar bills like he does at the Comic Con? So at his panels, if you say something nice about him, he'll give you $1.
No, this is probably like I remember he did a speech out in the Fashion Square Mall back when Fashion Square Mall was a thing. Heather, you know what I'm talking about? Like,
yeah, I do.
That's a wasteland now. But then it was a signing. It was a book signing, but his book didn't show up on time. His book dealer had messed up.
Oh no.
So I was really big into graphic design at the time, and I ran to I ran to the like local Staples and I had a bunch of stickers with an Evil Dead design that I put together real quick that had a space for his signature at the bottom. And we sold the books, but he signed the sticker so that they could put the sticker in the book when they got it.
You saved his ass and made thousands of people happy. Good for you.
He was really cool about it. He gave me his home address. He's like, hey, send me all the graphics that you did for this for this event, and it was just really nice. But that my love of Evil Dead 2, came before me getting to see how great of a person he was.
Oh yeah, but that made it even better.
Yeah, but I'm fascinated by that movie.
You know what makes that movie the best?
Besides all the one-liners and the chainsaw
but also
hands,
because it literally the first one was filmed in my home state.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're both originally from my home state.
Which is
that's cool.
Michigan. So
Wolverines! No, wait, that's another movie. I'm sorry.
I was super because when I was little when I saw it the first time. Mm-hmm. Like I was young, and I'm a super chicken. Like I was not so much now because Brian has like desensitized me to all the gore and God knows what.
That's scary.
Except for like he made me watch High Tension, and what was the other one? Rest Stop. And I watched both those movies, and I told him that if he ever showed me a movie like that again, I was gonna have to leave him.
Rest Stop was all right though.
I was not a better person for watching either one of them. There wasn't anything fun about that. There wasn't anything fun about either one of those movies. The only thing that was the saving grace in Rest Stop, I think, is because Joey Lawrence was in it.
And God, what's her name?
No,
Lady Sif, Jamie Alexander was in that.
So I'm a chicken. Yeah. So like that movie scared me, and then I saw People Under the Stairs, which terrified me, but I was 11 when it came out, so I'm sorry. But there's just certain movies that really just I lost sleep over and refused to watch them ever again.
I want to be that person. So I want to be that person. I walk through the houses at like, different theme park attractions, and I'm like, oh, really cool effect. Hey man, yeah, you look great. And they're like, rah, and you're like, hey. You look awesome. Thanks. Good job.
Nope. I know they're around the corner. They're going to jump out, and I'm still going to pee my pants.
I play Resident Evil
yes.
religiously.
Religiously? That's
okay, not in the last year, but I mean, there's still a part in their original game that still makes me jump.
All right.
I know when
What's
the
part?
It's that part where you're in the hallway and the dogs are gonna jump out through the window,
and you know what's happening, and you're just like, ah! Okay, can you put a camera on you next time you play so that we can
do a Twitch stream for us, will you?
Yeah.
Can you do a Twitch stream, Brian?
On my next day off, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do a game.
Do it. Do it, Willow.
I can't remember there was an arcade game that came out. I'm dating myself. Years ago that had a jump measure or something. Do you remember? So you used to have to like cuff yourself in. And like Dave and Buster's had it for a while. You'd have to like cuff yourself into this machine. That's so weird. Super sanitary. And they would like have like jump scares in the like booth that you were sitting in, and like air would puff back and things would jump. And like apparently I had no heart rate because it just didn't even reach.
Well, that's boy, that's heavy.
You realize that a low resting heart rate is like one of the things that signals a psychopath, right? So
yes, that's me. Yes, I have a low resting heart rate and a very abnormally low pulse. Like my blood pressure's low too. I'm a vampire. It happens.
I'm one of those. I'm like
that's something.
I am the exact opposite from you because my blood pressure runs high. I can control it with my anxiety. Like my face is red right now because I'm already excited. Like. It's like ridiculous. Like I can feel it. My ears will get hot and I'm like, my blood pressure's up. And yeah, I'm just like, my uncle used to scare me for kicks. Like he would be like, I knew he was behind the door and he would still jump out and I would still scream. And
my uncle's not a dick. My uncle was the one that showed me Nightmare on Elm Street. Like this, I don't remember what year it came out, but I was little.
84.
I saw it.
84.
Like as a small child, like when it was like ready for home, and it's probably like my favorite horror movie. Even I think it's just the memories from it. Like I would say Queen of the Damned by far is like one of my favorites. But that waterbed scene.
Cool.
And Halloween Horror Nights a couple of years ago did it where you actually walked through, and it was like I was like, ooh, this is so cool, and everyone's like freaking out. I'm like, this is cool. I want to like squish the walls. But yeah, no, I think I was just like thrown into it at such a young age that I'm not fazed by it, but I want to be. Like I'm actively looking, and I'm like, please, somebody do something. And I will only get scared if I'm like my senses are taken away. So if I'm in a completely pitch black, dark room, and I can't see my hand in front of my face, oh no. For whatever reason, I'm terrified of the dark.
Wasn't it like a few years ago? I don't know if it was in St. Augustine or Jacksonville. Was like supposed to be the scariest haunted house?
It's Jacksonville. It's actually supposed to be there this weekend. It's 13th floor in Jax, and they did a lights out where literally it was you with whatever group, and they gave you a glow stick this big, and you weren't guaranteed to keep it, and it was pitch black, and they're hands on. I mean, they're not the one, I can't remember the name of the one that like you donate a bag of dog food and you pretty much sign up to like have teeth pulled and like really bad stuff happen to you just for kicks. That one's creepy, but yeah. Anyways, I can't talk. Off track.
You mean off
Willow.
topic?
Yes, off topic.
Okay.
Oh my God.
You're welcome.
Nope.
I need
Nope.
Wow.
for like 20 hours.
Nope.
My
Gee,
favorite
Willow
horror
first.
movie. Yeah. There's so many.
There's a million of them. That's a problem.
Okay, so what scared me the most was probably Nightmare on Elm Street.
You're copying off Heather's paper again.
I was like really young. Like Heather, I was very young.
I will say
saw
Robert
it.
Englund is one of the kindest, nicest men you'll ever meet in your entire life.
I've heard about that at conventions, you know. Yeah.
He bought me my first beer.
He bought you your first
wow.
beer? What? Gee, Willikers, man. Freddie is a nice dude instead of just killing everybody in sight. Okay, I'll have to remember that next time I'm at a convention.
I mean, the Fresh Prince wrote a song about him. Sorry.
I love the Halloween movies. I don't know, it's really hard to say which one is my ultimate favorite because of the fact that, oddly enough, I loved April Fools.
Okay.
And there was another one called Alice Sweet Alice, I believe. Like these are going back to the 80s, and like I grew up watching with horror movies, and just I like watching them just to see what it's all about. Like why? Like yes, some do scare me, some make me think, but I'm more of watching it for the sake of the other people's reaction around me.
I will crawl into bed on a rainy night, get some Chinese food, and maybe a Gideon's cookie. It's true. And watch a horror movie. That's like my way of relaxing. Is like binge watching horror movies all year long. So I get it.
Mine too.
Boy, that doesn't sound creepy at all. So
what was the last one that you showed me and I actually physically jumped in the chair? What was that movie?
What was it?
Oh, what did we watch?
What didn't you watch, Brian?
This is true.
Oh,
watch everything.
In the chair and
I was sitting in the chair and I was watching it.
The short of Lights Out.
And you laughed at me like, okay.
So I showed her the original 3-minute Lights Out
3
clip.
minute. I thought it was 10.
It's a 3-minute movie and it scared the shit out of me.
Nice.
I jumped out of my chair and I'm like, and I screamed. Like I screamed. And Brian's like, well, okay, so he starts at 30 seconds, he pauses and he turns all the fucking lights off. And I went, what are you doing to me right now? I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? So he's like, no, you have to watch it like this. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're making me watch. What are you making me watch? And he's like, here. And he starts it. And it's like the last, 10 seconds of the stupid short. And I'm like, ah! And he's like, you jumped and you screamed. And I'm like, shut up. And yeah, and it's not scary, but it's that like you're anticipating, and then bam, I'm like, yeah. Of course, I jumped at the 47 meters down when the shark was coming at her too. Like it came out of nowhere. And I did. I jumped out of my chair and I did scream then too. So it takes a lot to scare me. And I don't like not sleep now. Like I think The Ring was the last movie that I watched where I actually didn't sleep.
Yeah.
Your friends anymore. It's over.
Naomi Watts. A very young Naomi
That
Watts.
movie scared me.
Very young Naomi
still
Watts.
Scares me. I still haven't watched it again ever.
So now it's Omar's turn, I think, for the favorite.
Comes down to Omar and the Rye Man. Go ahead.
How's that gonna happen?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mouse.
My absolute favorite horror movie of all time is the 1941 Wolfman.
Oh.
Wow, Universal Monster Classic.
Wait, can you see Bella behind me?
No, I can't. I can't see anything back there.
Yeah, I see it.
The vision's terrible.
I do love it.
It says something that in the height of their heyday, when horror movies were the big blockbuster, when there wasn't a Marvel movie or Schwarzenegger or anything,
Universal did
it was about going to see the horror movies, that the Wolfman is the only character that was played by one actor.
Lon
Chaney Jr. was the only person to ever touch the Wolfman. That was his baby. There had been multiple Frankensteins, multiple Draculas, never another
There's
Wolfman.
only one to me.
Benicio del Toro
Wolfman,
did it later on in 2010. And I just think he was magnificent. If it wasn't for him, we would have never gotten the werewolf transformation from American Werewolf in London.
Right. Yeah.
Baker,
Jack Pierce,
Howling. Exactly. It's
Jack
just
Pierce.
It should be at the tippy top of most important films to horror cinema.
I would 110%.
I had an opportunity to 2 Halloweens ago. I was in Virginia. And there is this amazing historical theater called the Byrd Theater, BYRD. And it is this traditional, classic 1930s, 1940s, like organ rises up from the bottom and they have a harpist. And for $5, you could sit and watch the entire Universal Classic Monsters movies. And I just sat there all day this is the best thing in the entire world. And the organ player played the intro. And then he would play through. It was amazing. It was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had in my life.
Nice.
Good choice, Omar.
Yeah, Omar, I was going to ask you, because I've never asked you this. What did you think of Michael Landon's Teenage Werewolf movie?
Omar or me?
Omar.
Teenage Werewolf movie.
Yeah, I believe it was called I Was a Teenage...
I Was a Teenage Werewolf.
Yeah, Michael Landon, when he was young.
Actually, I've never seen it.
Before he did Bonanza.
Yeah, I've actually never seen it.
Oh, okay.
Go watch it and come back and report to us. You have homework now.
I think after this show, Heather, we're all going to have some homework. If you don't understand what I'm saying. So, hashtag.
We need a full list of his graphic novels so the boys don't mess them up when they go to find them.
You got it. Like I said, it'll be about 150 lists long when I have some time to think about it.
We'll have a reading list for reels and heels.
Yeah, we're going to have some homework.
Speaking of, there's
Brian.
Some really good horror ones out right now that have just finished their run, so you can read the complete stories now. If you guys haven't checked out Harrow County yet from Dark Horse, it's amazing.
I love Dark Horse. Anything they do is amazing.
I'm gonna get kicked off the show because I can't keep up.
This is impressive, Omar.
All right, Ryan, your choice.
What, my turn?
Yeah, you're last but not least.
I know. How can I top all the ones you already named that I enjoy and I like very much, you fools?
Anyway, no copying off our paper.
It's all right. We're copying off everybody's paper tonight, Heather. It's fine. It's not cheating if you don't get caught.
It's borrowing. Yes, that's true.
Whatever. You know what it is? Semantics. Whatever. But I would say one of my favorite scary movies, in the words of Roger Jackson, a.k.a. Ghostface. Met him at a convention. Nice dude. Let's see. I don't think we've named this one yet, so I'll go with, you know what? I was thinking of doing this one, but then I thought, no.
Just give us your top 3 at this point.
I can't. All right, yeah. So let's go with a 5-year-old girl watching television. She turns over to her parents. They're here. Poltergeist.
Yes, Poltergeist. My mom used to say it reminded her of me when I was little. Apparently, I was creepy as shit. That's cool. Sure.
Boy, this conversation turned creepy if it hasn't already. But anyway, so Poltergeist is one of them. That's one of my favorites, I would say. The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Ooh.
I think that's a damn good film, and it doesn't get enough credit. Before he did Doctor Strange, Cooper was directing films like Exorcism of Emily Rose, and he killed it with that. Underrated, and a very young Jennifer Carpenter was the title role of Emily Rose. So Jennifer Carpenter, good work, my friend. Mm-hmm. Let's see, door number 3. Well, it's not really a scary movie. It's more like a movie that's like based on a graphic novel, but it's a really good, not really scary movie, but a thriller, but I like it anyway. I like Blade. I think Blade is really good. I was just watching
it last night. It's a great
The first one?
Yeah, the first and only one, by the way. Thank
you. With the bloodbath?
Yeah,
you don't.
Dude, the blood rave and that techno music
I was saying, wait a minute.
He makes his circle and he's like, you're all about to die right now. Like, if you want to introduce a character to somebody who hasn't read a comic book up to that point, which includes me.
Fair. What were you going to say,
This
Steve?
guy pulling out
I think Omar and I were both about to go.
Yeah, I'm going to watch this movie for 2 straight hours, and I don't care what happens next, because nothing's going to top the blood rave scene. Nothing's going to top that club scene. I'm sorry.
Omar and I just did a big WTF when he said the only Blade movie, as if Blade 2 didn't exist.
Yeah, I'm not.
Because Blade 2 is amazing.
I'm not a fan of Blade 2.
Absolutely amazing with those like angry vagina monsters, like those.
So good.
Yes.
Steve, let me be honest.
They're terrifying. Somebody said their favorite horror movie is Teeth. By the way.
By the way, Omar.
Because they all watch Teeth.
By the way, Omar, I will take your Wolfman, and I got a story for you. Actually, I got a story for all 600 of you here on screen. So the Universal horror films, I've never seen them up to this point, but a couple years ago, I went to a convention where the actor who played the Gill Man in Creature from the Black Lagoon, the guy in the water scenes, Rico Browning, was at a convention of mine in my backyard, and he was there, and I met him. I got his autograph. They showed the movie that night, right after his Q&A. So I stayed there. Watched the movie for the very first time, and I gotta say, I was like, for a film that was made 100 years ago, this is one of the best films I've ever seen in my doggone life. And not only after I saw the film, I bought the Blu-ray the next day at one of the vendors who was there, even though it was wildly overpriced. And then sometime later, I went on something called Amazon.com. I don't know if everyone's ever heard of Amazon. And I bought the whole 8-film set of the original Universal Monsters film, so I can educate myself on some film history. And Omar, let me tell you something, brother. Creature from the Black Lagoon, Wolfman, Phantom of the Opera. I mean, God almighty. Those are some of the best old school films I've ever seen in my life. So Creature from the Black Lagoon, so good, brother.
Yeah.
So good.
The original Lon Chaney Phantom of the Opera, the silent movie one, that makeup that he did would haunt my dreams as a child because it was on every Famous Monsters magazine. Yeah. So I would beg my dad for these magazines and then thoroughly give myself nightmares because I couldn't get past the fucking cover half the time.
I haven't seen that version of it yet. The one I have on Blu-ray is the Phantom of the Opera with Claude Rains in the title role. But Claude Rains is one of the best actors who ever lived. And if you don't believe me, watch him in The Wolfman, watch him in The Invisible Man, for Pete's sake. That's another one of the greatest of all time.
Go watch the Robert Englund version of Phantom of the Opera.
That's good too.
Phantom of the Opera is great. With Claude Rains, of course. I haven't seen the original Omar, so I can't comment or speculate on the original, but the Claude Rains version is kick-ass, brother.
It is.
Yes,
really
for some reason, the original Mummy scared the crap out of me as a kid.
See, that was one of the ones I wasn't too big on. Boris Karloff didn't scare the bejesus out of me. He didn't.
Okay,
great actor, but he didn't scare the bejesus out of me.
His walk in that movie still scares the crap out of me, and I will forever have nightmares of it.
I felt nothing when I was watching The Mummy or Frankenstein or even Bride of Frankenstein. I was like, man, these movies are like, compared to the other 4 in the box set, respectively. Sorry, Universal, but I'm giving you my honest opinion.
It's a harsh reality.
Bride of Frankenstein can be argued as the first real horror comedy.
Absolutely.
I mean, the last 2 minutes, the woman comes alive and just looks at the screen, and then it hits the end. And I'm like, come on, man. The bride's in it for 2 minutes.
It was the original cliffhanger.
Yeah, but I don't like that, Heather. I wanted the bride to be in the movie for like 35 to 40 minutes like she should have been. Or like I was expecting.
Go watch Young Frankenstein. You'll have plenty of the bride.
Taffeta, darling. Taffeta.
Whatever. If they ever make another Bride of Frankenstein movie, put her in the movie for more than 2 minutes. Please. God.
Well, Universal was going to. Angelina Jolie was attached.
Never happened.
That fell
never happened.
No,
never happened.
Stop ruining my people by casting fucking Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Hey, I still would have paid $7.50 to watch that movie, Nicole, but it never happened.
Speaking of movies that never happened, okay. Madonna apparently
That
was
movie
supposed
just
to
happened like 2 years ago. It's called Birds of Prey. Look it up.
Why?
No. Madonna was apparently supposed to play Harley Quinn in Joel Schumacher.
During the Schumacher days.
Now, if you want to talk about somebody who should be playing the Mummy, Madonna would be great.
I mean, if you want to talk about her playing this character now, I'm like, whoa, who's directing this movie? Because you're clearly lost your marbles.
I will hand it to her. Madonna did a really good job as Harley Quinn for Halloween.
Oh, I couldn't even tell.
Yeah, but
it was like somebody else.
That's a fantastic.
Can I just say my favorite Madonna anything was Breathless?
Oh, you mean Breathless Mahoney? Oh
yes,
Dick Tracy.
Mahoney, Dick Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
Discovered other people. That's another great quotable film, am I right, Brian? Dick Tracy's pretty quotable.
Yeah, Dick Tracy's a good one.
Yeah, man. We should do that one. We should do a quote along to Dick Tracy.
Suddenly Seeking Susan.
Hey, Heather, I don't know if you like this or not, but for Madonna, I like Breathless Mahoney. I really liked her as May Mortavito. I really liked her as All the Way May. Okay.
Okay. I'm a nerd, and I just went to go visit one of my best friends in Wisconsin, and we were working an event at a brewery in Racine, and I had to educate her that that's a big part of A League of Their Own, and she had no clue. Yeah, but no, All the Way May. And there were people, because it was a Halloween party, there were people dressed in like the Peaches uniforms.
Yes. Rockford Peaches, I will find that,
baby. They were amazing. So yes, Rockford thank you for bringing out my nerd.
Racine Bells. What is it? Was it Kenosha, South Bend? Yeah, the whole.
Don't hurt your brain.
9. What's his name? Jimmy Dugan. Bullshit, you all can kiss my ass. That's right. Very good.
Okay, so Rebecca, who's one of my favorite people, her husband posted a picture of the organist from The Bird. But it's not even my photo, but there you go. That brings us back. That was the entire show they were playing for the classic monsters.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
I will show you guys the videos. I will pull them up. It's fantastic.
That's something, isn't it?
So I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was kind of cool. So there was some really cool birthdays this past week.
Birthdays are always really cool, Brian.
Birthdays are somewhat fun, depending on the person.
Godzilla celebrated 67.
Happy birthday, Godzilla!
You mean hey Brian? It's pronounced
Gojira.
Godzilla. Yes.
No, it's Gojira.
Well.
Gojira.
So,
by the way, Alan Shepard would be very happy to hear that. No, not the spaceman, but my good friend Alan Shepard, who's a Facebook friend of mine. Alan, you're a big kaiju fan, man. It's your boy's birthday. Celebrate it like there's no tomorrow.
So, are you you like Godzilla stuff?
I mean, I like King of the Monsters, and I like Kong Skull Island. I was disappointed with Gojira versus Kong, but it was all right.
What about
Steve, you look awfully uncomfortable. What's your opinion on it, my friend?
I'm a huge Godzilla fan. So I actually have a Godzilla bathroom back there with the shower curtain. And the first toy that I ever asked for when I was a little kid was Shogun Warriors. Were these toys? You still see them around these days, but it were toys that had the robots that did the rocket the punch. But they also had a Godzilla in that series that had a little button on the back where his little plastic flame tongue would come out and his hand would actually rocket punch. And I still have that toy to this day. It's in the Godzilla bathroom.
You have an TV Cribs version of your place there, Steve, because we need to see some videographic evidence. For this,
yeah, I've got some weird stuff in here. I got still a lot of original comic art. I've got like an Ashley Wood Astro Boy figure back there. I've got the Hot Toys Thanos.
Oh, wow.
Hot Toys?
Yeah, I'm trying really hard not to collect Hot Toys figures, but
dude, those things will bleed you dry. Just ask Robert Meyer Burnett.
I've been bad. They just came out with the Hydra Crusher and Captain Carter for pre-order and the Hydra Crusher is like 26 inches tall. And I got it in a second.
I was gonna say, please tell me you at least ordered that.
I did order that.
You deserve to treat yourself. Christmas is coming up today.
Yeah, I try to, you know, I was a obsessive collector and I'm trying not to fall down that rabbit hole again. I like to live light. My only true personal goal moving forward is just more travel. and try not to waste money on things.
And you do have some really amazing little explorations there, dude.
Hey, Steve, don't end up like me where you collect so many things that you realize, I got too much stuff. What do I need to do? You need to purge. So I've purged 2 or 3 times since the apocalypse occurred.
Yeah, I have a storage unit filled with, thousands of graphic novels. I gave away all my comics, which I kind of regret because I was an obsessive collector. So, like, let's say things that to me seem new, like the first appearance of Carnage. I probably had 50 copies of that in 10 mint condition, and now they're selling for thousands and thousands of dollars a pop.
So you could have
I was also here's a little Steve fun fact: is I was the first. I used to import Japanese Pokemon cards. And when Pokemon came out for the first time in English, I had all of those kind of connections. So the little comic shop that I ran at the time had more Pokemon cards than Toys R Us. So there was points where my apartment had cases of just backstock of first edition Pokemon cards that are now worth like $250,000 an individual box.
And that's when they were called Pocket Monsters, right?
Well, when there was Pocket Monsters, it was what they called them as the Japanese, but when it came over into the United States, it was Pokemon. And I wish I still had some of that stuff too, because I'd say at one point I probably had what today would be worth, $50 million worth of Pokemon cards sitting in a closet.
Another day in your life.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I mean,
It doesn't work. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I
seriously,
still
if
would.
I had 50 million, you think I would want to work another day, Heather? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Now here,
I'm gonna
ask a fun question. If you won the lottery, would you still work?
I absolutely would. Nothing would change.
Yep.
I mean,
but I don't think of what I do as work. Like I've personally recognized, I'm an introverted personality. I spend a lot of time solo. I need days to recharge, like today is recharging.
Hey, you offered.
But of course, but this is easy for me because I'm sitting at home, so it's there's no responsibilities here. But I've learned that I fall into fits of deep depression if I don't have a creative outlet. So for me, Gideon's is an eternal creative outlet opportunity. So if somebody came up to me tomorrow and said, "Hey, I'll give you $800 million for Gideon's Bakehouse," which eventually might not be something that's off the table, I don't think I could do it.
No.
But I'm a terrible capitalist. I'm not doing what I do for money. Like I said earlier,
you are Gideon's. Like, if it wasn't for you at the helm, I don't think it would be as successful, because people fall in love with you and they fall in love with the product. It comes hand in hand. It's not one or the other. It's like, oh, that guy Steve sucks, so I'm gonna go get some of his cookies. It's like, that Steve guy is awesome. And
you should see some of the comments on my social media that I have restricted.
On my social media.
Dude, don't listen to the trolls, man. Don't listen to them.
No, I don't. But yeah, I do joke with the staff that if anything happens to me, they're all screwed, because no one actually knows my recipe. I've been able to work with a few different companies to kind of outsource some dry ingredient prep. Right. And no one really knows who they are, and it's kind of split.
Like KFC, like 4 different.
Those Kentucky Fried Chickens.
But also, no one knows my social media passwords, so there'd be no access to Instagram if I got in a car accident on the way to work tomorrow.
Is fire. Like, you have, it's one of the only things I look forward to that pops up. Like Gideon's Bakehouse. I was like, oh, done. Watch. I'm also very upset that I was out of town when there was the apple peanut butter hand pie.
Oh, the once a year, my baby. I love the peanut butter apple stuff.
I was out of town.
I'm sorry.
I am too.
I mean, it's kind of similar to why we do this thing called podcasting here, Steve. I do it because I love meeting new people every week. I do it because I love promoting their stuff. I do it because meeting new people, me being an extrovert, a mixture of both. Sue me.
Everybody's a mixture of both.
I feed off of other people's energy. Granted, I'm born and raised with 10,000 volts and electricity in my veins, so I don't need no coffee. I'm sorry. But I do it because I feed off of other people's energy. When I'm at a convention, that's my tribe. When I'm hanging out with the cosplayers and the celebs and whatnot, that's my jam. But when I'm not hanging out with them, I'm sad. It's like, dude, I feed off of other people's vibes. I need to feel it. But unfortunately, the pandemic has, shrunk things to a degree, but still doing our YouTube channel. Always promote your stuff. Follow us at It's Nerd Culture, Steve. I think you'll like it. And we do it because we love it. So if you love what you do, Steve, it's not called work.
This is true. It's funny. During the pandemic, my extrovert friends would call me up complaining. I'm like, what are you calling me for? Like, I could live alone on an island for the rest of my life and be entertained.
With
like
your cat.
I have
Don't forget the cat.
I can't, of course, so the babies always. I can't empathize with extroverts, but I understand the concept of being energized by other people. I'll go out to Disney Springs on a Saturday night and I'll talk to people for 8-ish hours, and it's hard for me to walk away because I'm obsessed with experience. I do accept the fact that no one's going to be able to create the best experience like I would, because I'm so passionate about talking about Gideon's, and I do love to get to know people. Like if you're interviewing to work at Gideon's Bakehouse, you're going to sit down and have the finale with me, and it's going to be at least 60 to 90 minutes, and none of it's going to be about your tell me about a time when you had a difficult work situation and what did you do to turn it around?
You do that really well. It's creepy.
Thank you. It's all about who you are. Like I'll ask questions of like, what's your greatest fear? I love it when people answer the question, and I've had someone ask it back, like, what's your greatest fear? And I'm like, that's an inappropriate question for an interview.
Oh, now I want to know the best answer to what's your biggest fear. But yes, that is a very inappropriate question, but I would totally be that person.
So but you got to finish the lottery question, and then you can answer that question.
Like what's the biggest fear?
Really
like what's my biggest fear?
What's the biggest fear? And then we're going to move to lotto. Yes, we're off.
Oh, I'm pretty dead inside, so it's hard to have like fear. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't get nervous about anything.
Right.
But that's because my personal issue in life is presence. I struggle with presence, and when you're not present, there's no time to get nervous.
Right.
I had said to Shawn Michaels, like, I'm not going to in about 2 weeks I'll wake up amazingly freaked out about what just happened with the title belt.
But for the time being, you're just like, this is normal. This is great.
Yeah, and I like photography because photography helps to pull me into a moment after the fact, and I love the mountains because that's a place where I feel present. Nature, I think, naturally does that to anybody. But my only real fear is any pain or discomfort to my animals. I lost a dog 10 years ago this coming year, and I haven't gotten over it. Cats are my baby step back into pet ownership, because I had a really rare breed called an Alaskan Klekai, like a miniature wolf. And we were just so beautifully bonded, and this was during Uberbot, so she came to work with me every day. And she unexpectedly passed away in my arms, and it was just,
oh my God, Steve, I'm so sorry.
Like, that is one of those, that's fear. Like that, something like that happens again. So it has nothing to do with me, Like I do, when I do ask the question, people talk a lot about fear of failure is a big thing, or fear of death, and I love to get into the philosophy of that. And I talk to people a lot about how the best things that have happened in my life were my biggest failures.
There you go.
When people talk about fear of death, I love, I will get into the most philosophical questions about, I mean,
seriously, I've been with you on this stream for like almost 2 straight hours, and I gotta say, you're a deep thinker, brother. And
he's a pretty great individual, I'd say.
I'm old and I spend a lot of time by myself.
So.
Oh my God,
philosophical conversation. I don't know.
No, I love to talk to people, and it's, there's so many fun things to talk about. There's not a subject that. The only thing that I won't talk about is I'm terrible at sports. I don't know anything about sports unless you talk to me about wrestling or Quidditch.
What's your favorite football team? No.
Steve, you and I are the same way. I don't speak sports. I speak movies, son. Movies. Okay, I can talk about movies about sports, but not sports.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about pop culture in general is it's like everybody's pop culture says something about who they are as a person. Like if I tell you what my favorite movie is, it's representative of something that I identify with. Favorite TV shows, as a musician, that's what I love about music so much is, it's a cheesy Casey Kasem thing to say, but music is the soundtrack of people's lives. And
absolutely,
one of my favorite questions, and not a lot of people can answer this question or think about it, is I love to ask people what song represents how you feel on the inside. And it's a really deep question. If you could find that song,
I could answer it truthfully.
Yeah.
All right, Willow.
Willow's got an answer
okay.
to this $2 billion question.
So there's a song from Ace of Base called Never Gonna Say I'm Sorry. That song in particular has spoken for how I feel since I was a kid, because it's the lyrics are I'm a loser, that is a fact for sure. I am happy even if you don't want to invite me to a dance tonight. I'm not normal. I know it. I don't care.
Celebrate that.
Yeah.
You're a winner in my book, Willow.
Snaps to Willow.
And
she's a winner.
I live those lyrics. I live those lyrics every day. I know I'm not normal.
See, you just won the lottery by having this good group of
There is
friends
no
right
such
here.
thing as
That's you
normal.
winning
And
the lottery.
I could care less what people think.
I mean, we are the weirdos, mister. Like, really, like, it's so true, because it brings up such a valid point. Like, there's no normal set of normality. There is no such thing. Like, what's normal to this is normal to that, and what's the saying? What's common to the fly is not to the spider. Like, there's so many things that are such influential. And a friend of mine actually posted something really kind of tremendous to think about. Cole, who's with all the arts here, immersed and whatnot in Orlando. He posted something about, it took him a really, like, I can try to pull it up and share it. It took him a really long time to understand that most people in this world will never hear your name. And once you come to that understanding, that it's not meant to push you down. It's literally meant to show you that your world is small around you, even though it might feel terribly huge, and that there could be some awful things happening to you, but that's in your own world. And once you shift the dynamic and look at your world in a different light, you can change your circle of friends, you can change your thing, you can move, but you have to create that world around you instead of holding it and thinking that is the whole world. And it's really like, it was a huge, like, long Facebook post. And I was like tearing at the end because it was so poetically spoken.
Yeah.
Fair point. Fair point.
Not trying to bring the mood down, I think.
Yeah, we're getting deep tonight, y'all. We're getting deep for after hours. Good God.
I was all excited because I was like, oh, it would be awesome to have a job. And then I was like, you wouldn't hire me because I couldn't answer that question.
I mean,
Steve, you wouldn't hire Nicole.
I really couldn't answer that question because it's strange, because I don't.
Question.
Yeah, I don't ask that question in the music question in a job interview.
Thank God.
Yeah, that's a little too much.
I would never. I don't have the answer for that.
But I mean, I like that question.
I love it.
It's a good question. It's a great question.
It's people.
I mean, it's deep into the rabbit hole of Alice in Wonderland type question. Like, that's deep.
Dude, if you weird questions like for job interviews, like, I don't know why they ask them. Like, one of the questions I remember hearing was, if you were a fruit, which fruit would you be? I was like, what is that?
Animal? Which animal would you be?
The weirdest thing I ever had to do for an interview is they gave me a piece, and Steve might know this one because it's a very creative thing. They gave me a piece of paper and a pen, and they said, draw a cow, and they walked out of the room.
What the frack does that have to do with getting
Steve, do you know that one?
I don't. It sounds like an Apple thing. And I used to work at Apple, but they'd never done something like that.
It was not for Apple. It was
weird, man.
It was for a publication years ago here.
Was it?
To write for them. It was so weird. And I'm like, draw a cow. All right, maybe they're like, we just want to, little baby.
Fur baby alert.
Fur baby alert. Distracted Heather. What?
The lottery. You want to hear lottery answers?
No,
right?
I want to finish the cow. Then we'll hear lottery.
Okay.
The cow. I was like, I'm gonna doodle, and I like drew a sun and like a fence and a barn and like the cow, and I looked it up after the interview, and it's like, most people draw a cow facing right, and this is what it means, and to the left means this, and the whole body, or just the leg, and I'm like, I don't want to work for you people. It was very strange, and the psychology behind it just made no sense.
Sounds like a Myers-Briggs screw up.
Are you getting your hair done, Steve?
I am. Yeah. Sometimes I think he wants to burrow inside, like inside my chest. Oh, I heard Myers-Briggs. Have you guys all done Myers-Briggs?
Yes.
Once upon a time, several years ago, when I was a much younger person.
So we know that yours starts with an E. Do you remember what it is?
Mine was so long ago, I don't know what the answer was.
Yeah, does anybody know? Anybody do the Myers-Briggs?
Because I actually retake it for you, Steve, and then send you a DM.
You need to. I will. I do have my leadership staff do it because I like to. It helps you kind of understand how people's brains are wired, and if you ever do run into an issue or a conflict, and you want to understand how to communicate better with that person, I do find Myers-Briggs to be interesting.
I'm between an ESFJ and an ESFP.
Ah, all right.
What was mine?
Yeah.
This kills me. I can't remember. Once again, you're going into two deep questions.
It's N, right? I-N.
S-E.
There's a lot of different ones. Like I'm something called an INF. I'm an INFJ.
Yeah.
I'm
idealistic, organized, insightful, dependable, compassionate, gentle, seek harmony and cooperation, enjoy intellectual stimulation. Yeah, that's actually pretty accurate, Steve.
I think mine is just ES. I don't know. I can't help it that I'm smart, Steve. I don't know why. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what my real results were because it was so long ago.
The color one,
what's your color?
The color personalities.
Yeah, color personality. Yeah.
So
I remember
like
that.
they do it at our teacher workshops and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we were asked to sit in a group and talk to somebody for like 5 minutes or whatever, and then we were supposed to ask, or we were supposed to like guess what somebody was. And I happened to sit with all my friends, and we all kind of knew, like, just by looking at the criteria list, and they're like, well, you're blue and you're gold. And so I started like realizing that a lot of my friends, it made sense. Because I was like, yeah, they're gold. That's why I don't see how, like, she's my friend and I love her, but I don't always see how she can be the way she is. And it made a lot of sense to me because I was like, I'm very much blue. I'm very much blue. Like
I don't think I've ever done the color personality.
Yeah, me neither.
Super intuitive, super like heart, like lovey. Wow. I will be the one that cries, like the damn Budweiser commercial with the dog that sits by the door. Cried my damn eyes out. Like I will cry at fucking everything.
I mean
everything. And if the dog dies, we're in trouble. Like if I knew the dog was gonna die, I'm still crying.
I think the only thing I know is that I have like a type A personality, like where I'm like all organized, keep shit together. So like if anyone needs me to help organize something, I've been there and done that. So
I'm like a type Z. Like there's no type for me.
This is a TikTok thing, apparently, the color personality test.
A TikTok thing?
No, that's not the right one.
Hey, I mean, we're on TikTok too. Feel free to follow us simply at @SNERDCulture.
Oh my God, Ryan.
Just saying. You bring up TikTok, I got to promote something.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no,
That's the only way you get recognized. Word of mouth. Keep promoting.
I'm definitely I'm an ENF personality. So. And I don't know if anybody can tell that I'm a Hufflepuff.
No, I just think that you're a cool, awesome-tacular person, Willow, who should never apologize for being awesome. And that goes for both you and Heather and Steve. Never apologize for being awesome.
Hufflepuff is pretty awesome.
Ravenclaw.
Actually, I'm a Gryffindor, believe it or not.
I don't believe that.
Well, it's true. I took the quiz, Heather. I did.
I want to see a screenshot. Send me a screenshot as a proof.
What's your Patronus?
Yeah, what's your Patronus?
I don't think I've gone that far into the.
There is a test that you could take that'll tell you like what your pronoun is, right? Like I identify as one without ever doing the test. Like I used to ask that question. I used to ask that on social media. I would say in the job post, the job interview post, it would say something about a Patronus and that you have to watch Gilmore Girls.
Yes.
Those are the two things. Like I literally put Harry Potter and Gilmore Girls together.
I can get a job at Gideon's because I just watched Gilmore Girls from beginning to end for the 5th time now.
It's so good.
I used to watch that with my husband.
So
I can't comment on the girls of the Gilmore, but I did watch.
I'm a Lorelai, by the way. Which
So-
makes absolutely no sense.
Go ahead, Steve.
A lot of comic book writers that I met through the comic book days were obsessed with Gilmore Girls because it helped them learn how to write like interpersonal things outside of just action stuff.
Really? You want to talk about
yeah, because the show is so great about it. Yeah, the dialogue is fantastic.
There's a whole book that literally shows you what each script references to because there's so many like far out crazy things. There's a literal book dedicated to deciphering it.
That's right. I brought this conversation to Gilmore Girls.
I love it. Wait,
I did it.
I love Gilmore
Good
Girls.
Are you
night.
team Jess or are you team Dean or are you team Logan, Steve?
I don't know. I'd have to go in and rewatch again and really kind of look at it with my more adult sensibilities.
If you have not watched it from beginning to end and then watched through the seasons, like the 4-part mini, I would say do it for sure. And they're supposed to be coming out with a second version of that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the words of our good friend Captain America, Heather, I'll add it to the list.
There it is.
There it is. Right there.
How
Boom.
many seasons?
7.
Is there 7?
Yeah, it's a lot. That's
I think
a lot of
there's 7,
viewing.
isn't it?
I'm gonna Google
Not
it.
counting the miniseries. Like there's 7 seasons of the original, and then there's the miniseries that was on Netflix. Because Netflix has everything.
Which that was 3 episodes.
I mean, I also just finished binging Vampire Diaries, Originals, and Legacy, so I'm all sorts of messed up.
So it was 7 seasons of the original, 1 season of the miniseries. Now you're telling me there's going to be a sequel to the sequel of the sequel? Okay,
Yeah.
so that means I got triple homework to do.
That's
See, Brian, this
fair.
is what you do to me, Brian. This is what you do to me.
All right, I want to know quick rapid fire favorite TV show since
Of
we're
all
on TV
time
shows.
or right now?
Active
all
on
time.
TV right now or in syndication?
Of all time.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
The first one that comes to your head, go.
True Blood.
Ooh, all right.
That's interesting.
Supernatural.
Okay.
Of course.
It's a good show.
Well, Supernatural now, but when I was a kid, it was Lois and Clark.
All right.
Man, rapid fire. Parenthood.
Okay.
Parenthood.
Hey.
Because,
That's a good one too.
because to see,
Oh, the cat.
I mean, I know they did it before this show happened, but to see someone on the show who has Asperger's syndrome like I do, because I take autism very seriously. That kid, Max Burkholder, who plays a character named Max, ironically enough, what's up, Max? Great job. Great portrayal of Asperger's. I was like, dude, man, and there was an episode of the show where he's trying to get a girl, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could be your wingman right now. Oh my God. Like, God, I wish I could jump through the screen and be like, yo, Max, I got you on this. I got you.
Ryan, I think you'd appreciate The Good Doctor.
Oh, yeah.
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard there's that. There's
That is a really good show.
There's the A
Steve,
word.
what about you?
Firefly.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a Firefly guy. I'm a brown coat.
Respect.
Oh,
Not
so
respect.
basically, Steve, every day you say to yourself, I aim to misbehave.
It's very true. Like that if you look at the other Whedon shows like Buffy and Angel, which are fantastic shows, they all took a while to find their groove, but Firefly had it instantly, and the chemistry between those actors and those characters.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you could tell they're still all super close. Like it was a great show. I liked Firefly, I think, because it reminded me of some of my favorite anime. It was very Cowboy Bebop and
For sure.
Outlaw Star and a lot of those
Brown
things
coats.
put together.
Yeah.
But I grew up a huge anime dork. Like one of my first memories of being obsessed with things as a kid was Jaws. I remember HBO was playing Jaws, but they also were playing something called Warriors of the Wind, which was what we now know of as Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. It's a Ghibli Studios film, but HBO had butchered it and done this really weird dub on it, and it taught Miyazaki never to allow anybody to edit his films because they butchered it so bad. But it introduced me to animation and Japanese animation on a massive level. So I started watching and collecting a lot of anime when I was really.
What's your favorite
really
anime?
young. I'm a big fan of Devilman. I'm a huge Lupin the Third junkie, which is why I had a dog named Lupin. I think Castle of Cagliostro is is been named as one of Steven Spielberg's favorite movies, which is
really?
which is Miyazaki directed film. I love Giant Robo was great. These are things that like people that watch anime now don't know what I'm talking about. Macross Plus.
They're old school. See, I'm an Inuyasha girl, but that's still more new school than what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean,
Inuyasha genre, so I can't say anything.
I mean, I always tell people anime is like Japan's Hollywood. So it's like there's a genre and there's so many different styles. I think the problem with anime these days is actually being made more for an American audience or an international audience than it is for Japan. So you get more formulaic stuff, whereas anime used to be super weird. Like I love a show called Macross 7 that's like a rock opera in space. New songs every episode. There's a guy shooting speaker pods at aliens, and the speakers embed in the alien ships, and he sings to them.
What is it called? Because I am now going to watch it. Macross.
It's called Macross. Macross is the original. It's called Robotech in the United States, but in Japan it's Macross. Makross. Macross Plus.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Macross 7. Macross Plus is a whole other anime that I obsessed over. That was one of the first animes that blended cell animation and 3D animation or digital animation together.
Oh, that'll be what I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, Macross 7 is so badass. And I will say it's also one of the first Macross series in Japan that was not very popular. But I don't know. It's really, I mean, it's cheesy, but the music's super fun.
Heather, I have a anime recommendation for you then.
Talk to me.
There is a series called Sorcerer Hunters.
Okay.
And I am pretty much, when I was growing up and watching it, I had a lot of people say, you're just like the character Carrot. So once you watch it, you'll understand.
Oh, boy. I have a friend, Phil, who's like obsessed with anime. And like, I will literally run these to him and be like, okay, help me find them, because he literally can access anything off of his magic computer. It's great.
Yeah.
You guys,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
everybody here should watch Cowboy Bebop before the live action one hits. And Bebop's on Netflix now, the anime.
Yes.
It's just one season.
Yes.
And it's a work of art. I mean,
who's making the live action one though?
It's a Netflix original.
The trailer was perfect for Cowboy.
Willow, you're pulling out the what is that? A mask or a sock?
It's a mask.
Okay, I can't tell what article of clothing is which anymore, but still.
Come on.
That's what happens when you're not wearing your glasses.
That was the one anime that I obsessed over when I was a kid. So,
but I do have a couple favorite animes besides Sorcerer Hunters. I love Ninja Scroll.
Oh wow, Ninja Scroll is serious.
Yeah.
Kira's a classic.
Spirited Away. These are all great stuff.
Yeah, those are things that everyone should watch.
Absolutely.
I'll interview these kids that say they're anime fans and they don't know what Akira is, and I'm like, interview over.
Like, get out of here.
Get out of here.
I was never into anime, but the kids were like watching different stuff on YouTube, and they were like, Mom, you need to sit and watch Death Note with me. Mm-hmm. And so we watched the live action one first, and then they were like, but watch the anime. And I was like, I liked it because the story kind of spoke to me, and I'm all into the weird death and destruction shit, I guess. But that's really strange because Myers-Briggs says I shouldn't be. But then they were like, let's watch Demon Slayer. And so we were watching Demon Slayer, and I was like, this makes complete sense to me. Like if everything was like that, then I would love anime, I'm sure. But
Castlevania is another good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually written by Warren Ellis, who wrote Transmetropolitan.
So. Wasn't Castlevania a video game?
It all comes full circle.
Yeah, there we go. I did it.
Okay, because I was gonna say my boy Brian Rodman, who's a horror fantasy comic writer, just came out with his new issue, Memoirs of an Angel, and he said that if we get to a certain number of backers, they're gonna get an 11x17 Castlevania tribute poster for my comic, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I think I remember Castlevania when I was a bit younger. But I look at this poster and I'm like, okay, you got two guys. You got one guy's in the forefront, like being all evil, and I'm gonna kill everybody. And then the one guy's like, bring it on, bitch! I got a sword. What do you got? And I'm like, yes, sword fights. Give me a sword fight and I'll watch it.
I'm gonna bring it back to Steve here. See if he remembers this. You remember Captain N in the Game Master cartoon?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay,
Willow
it's called
apparently
Captain
knows
N and the Game Master. So it was about this. It wasn't anime. It was an animation. But this kid who played Nintendo was transported into the world of Nintendo, and he teamed up with Kid Icarus, Mega Man, Metroid, and Castlevania. The main character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it. I remember the visuals. I've never watched this.
Yeah, and so like on his belt buckle, he had the NES controller, and then he also had the Power Glove.
Yeah, he sure does.
Brian,
Look at
the
that.
Power Glove.
Okay, you have
The Power Glove.
You have out nerded most people on this.
Yeah, that's super
Brian,
nerdy.
do you remember that Power Glove
Respect.
scene? Because he says, "I love the Power Glove." It's so bad. Come on, man.
Dude, I remember when they introduced the Power Glove before the public had it. It was in the movie The Wizard with
Yes.
Savage.
Wizard's
That was a great
By the way,
movie.
that's a classic film, man. That's a classic. That has like a horrible Rotten Tomatoes rating, but the RT people can, blank themselves because that is a classic. That
They
is a
even
Mario
had
Brothers
it in-
3.
They
Come on,
even
man.
had the Power Glove in Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, did he?
I have a feeling that if you looked back at a lot of our favorite things from the 80s and 90s, that
80s
on
was
Rotten
so
Tomatoes, it would be ripped into shreds because
All the 80s, a lot of 80s films got ripped to shreds. But
I
it doesn't
mean-
matter because we like them and they're good movies.
Kitty.
They're
Well,
good
the thing is, a lot of people don't even understand Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't judge the film. What it is it takes all the reviews and puts
It's an
them
algorithm.
together, and that's how you get the score. And a lot of people
Yeah.
don't understand that.
Right. Yeah, I took that course too, Brian.
Yeah, but
I
I
know
know
the
we've been
difference,
going for over
but
2
it still
hours
makes me
here.
upset when I see some
I
of the
really
greatest
don't want to
films of
Okay.
all time have 4
no,
movies.
everybody has to answer that damn question because I want to answer the lottery question.
Go
Okay.
ahead,
Lottery
Nicole.
question.
I'm waiting
So-
for Steve to have a cat butt on his head.
It's,
already
it's,
got
I was gonna
my
say-
destiny in
happening.
life.
Steve's already
Sorry.
got one. He's good. Steve,
So does
you're
the
golden.
so does Facebook so does the Facebook bots, do they send you the cat butt cookie cutter then?
Oh, God.
So that ad showed up on my feed and I'm allergic to cats.
Well, now
It
that you
showed
just
up
said
on
that,
my-
it's going to show up on my feed. So thank you.
It showed up on my friend's feed who was
buy that
allergic to
one.
cats. I'm just like, who wants a cat
So,
butt? I don't know.
fun
Yeah,
Heather
sorry.
fact. My entire life grew up thinking I was allergic to cats because my mother was like, "You're allergic to cats." So like friends' houses, I would like Benadryl it up and like be like really nervous to touch a cat or like immediately wash my hands. And I love cats. I think they're awesome. And I was dating a guy in Virginia. I was going up there all the time, and he was staying with his stepmom and his dad. They had 7 cats. So 2 years ago, I learned that I am not, in fact, allergic to cats. My mom told me that she just told me I was allergic. She didn't want me to have one. She didn't.
Oh, that's evil.
No.
37 years of learning or thinking I was allergic to a cat.
Boy, that's
No,
below the belt.
parents-
Trying to keep the glass up.
No, actually, I am actually very allergic.
I wasn't seeing.
So,
No, we
All
were.
right, answer your
Um,
lottery question.
but so if I won the lottery, the first thing I would do is live completely debt free. And I know that's cliche, and I know that's something that everybody says, but I would live 100% debt free. I would technically not stop working, but I would start my own school.
Nice.
So it would encompass a lot of the teachings of Reggio Emilia, which I learned about when I went to Italy when I was early childhood major. And it would incorporate how to use that later on as well. So it would go from birth to 8. So it would be a K-8 school essentially. But it would take a lot of the teachings from Ron Clark and a lot of that positivity, because I think that's a lot of what education is lacking right now. And I think that our kids need it, but our kids also need to understand that learning can be fun and that it should be fun, and that there's so many more things than the damn standardized tests that we continue to make our kids take. And that is my TED Talk. Yes, that's what I would. That is 100% what I would do. I just
The
would.
kitty would like to feed into the microphone. What does he have to say?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're getting annoyed with me not being on the couch, so they
Go.
could live
We
on
don't want to
the
hold you up, Steve.
Oh no,
We're going to be
please!
wrapping up
No,
soon here.
it's just cats. It's gonna be okay.
We're literally just sitting and hanging out. This is good.
Yeah.
He was licking the microphone. It was hilarious.
We're going off Brian's script, and I'm so happy we're doing that.
He's gonna
start. Brian had a script for tonight. He's like, you know what? Crack it. I got Steve and Heather and Ryan on here. I don't need no script.
It's true.
Yeah, you got 3 magical superstars in your presence here, Brian. You should be thankful.
Thank you.
No, it's all good. Look, I pick on Brian because I love him. That's why we pick on Brian.
Did Heather answer the lottery question?
I don't think I answered it.
No.
I would absolutely 100% still work every day. I would make sure that Still Serving was fully funded, because that's the hardest thing I'm having a problem with right now is the nonprofit paperwork and the attorney's fees. And so my ultimate goal was Still Serving, and Steve, you've probably heard this spiel before, but like I started it off to support the local restaurants that were still open during quarantine, who were doing curbside, who were shifting, I hate the word pivot, who were still serving the community, or businesses like Gideon's Bakehouse that were still able to employ people that were being furloughed or laid off. So I started it to help promote those people because I'm friends with some of those really awesome local people. And I wanted to make sure that they were taken care of because they were supporting the community and those that needed help. My goal in life is to have a foundation so I can do re-education. So somebody that went to culinary school, wanted to start their own restaurant, and it blew up, and like not in a good way. So they decided they're not going to be in the restaurant industry anymore. They want to be a teacher, help them with a scholarship program, re-educate them within the field that they're at. Offer a scholarship program, offer marketing tactics consulting. So really a one-stop shop that any kind of small business, obviously focused on the restaurant industry, but open to everybody, would be able to come and get help so that the community can stay stronger, because especially in Orlando, we have such a tight-knit community. It's massive, but it's such a small world. And you have those people who are like, oh, I think Red Lobster is the best restaurant ever. I want to go there for seafood all the time. And I'm like, there's like 10 different seafood restaurants that would love your business right now, and they don't have Cheddar Bay biscuits, and that's okay. But there's so many things and so many people, and I won't even go into it. There's social media groups that will like start arguing about how Wawa's Gobbler is the better of the sandwiches between Wawa and Subway. And it's like this big conversation. You're like, dude, Pom Pom's Tea House, she's got a turkey sandwich that'll blow your mind. But I want that awareness. So that's where the majority, obviously pay off debt, make sure my family is taken care of, finally buy my Mustang GT convertible. But
nice.
What year?
Deals. Yeah.
No, like I want to get the brand new one that's coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
You should.
Meanwhile, but also the majority of my money is gonna go to the foundation if I ever win the lottery, if I'm ever so lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, even the kids in the background agree with you. Good Lord, I didn't know the kids were here tonight. Hello. Wow.
Heather, you reminded me of the day that we announced that we were going to Disney Springs. There were comments like crazy. I got 1,000 comments in a second on social media, and I'm reading through the Disney Spring comments, and someone's comment was, "Yeah, Gideon's cookies are okay, but have you ever had the cookie at Starbucks?" And I'm like, "Oh
No.
Willow's like, no more Starbucks talk.
The one that got me about Gideon, Steve, and I don't know why they were so jilted. They compared the Frankenstein cookie to the M&M cookie at Wawa.
Yeah, that's the weirdest thing.
For those of you who don't know, it's my favorite. Steve's least favorite, apparently. That's something I learned.
I do not like it.
It's a chocolate chip cookie stuffed with Oreos, with Oreo dust on top, topped with M&Ms. Is that the best way of explaining it?
Yeah, it's a hodgepodge of candy. So it's the sweet, like my admission as a bakery owner is that I'm not a big fan of sugar. So Gideon's product isn't really sweet; it's rich.
Yes.
The exception would be the Frankenstein cookie because it's loaded with M&Ms. So it's a sweeter offering. I totally get it, and obviously it's still on the menu. Yeah, the Bride of Frankenstein I like, which is the white, the gold. It's filled with golden Oreos instead of double stuffed Oreos, white chocolate instead of regular chocolate, and it offers more of a balance. And that's the Bride of Frankenstein is new this year. But yeah, it is hard for me. I'm always trying to steer people to everything local, and I'll hear people, talking about where they want to eat lunch, and if I hear them say something that's a franchise or whatever, and not to disrespect people who purchase franchises, and people love what they love, so I'm very big about that. Like, I hate being reviewed. Like there's one of the Disney food blogs that does that. Like every month they've got to review the cookie, and there's some people review it in like a really nice way, like, oh, this is what I really love about this, and then there's one person that's always, this cookie tastes just like that cookie, and like they compared like a peanut butter cookie to a coffee-based cookie once, and I'm like, whose palate is this?
I know that opening day was a blur for you for Disney Springs. Do you remember? So when I got over there and you were like flying high, and I was like, I just want to come in, I want to take pictures, but I'm still serving, and you were nice enough to like get me in there, and like, I'm buying a cookie, I'll wait online if I have to, it's totally fine. But like, we were standing there looking right below the gargoyle, and that little corner that became like a photo studio for every freaking wannabe food blogger, and some food bloggers, but like they were holding cookies up, they were taking it was just like, okay.
Yeah, and I love it, but most of them, and especially a lot of the Disney ones, are just simply reporting, like, hey, this is the cookie. Here's a photo of it. Go check it out.
Right.
I don't understand the need of going, this one, I think this one is that, and blah, blah, blah. Like, who cares?
Nobody cares what your opinion is. Just tell us.
Yeah, it's like everybody has different palettes. And that's one of those things where, coming from an art gallery, like you don't walk into an art gallery where an artist has put up their work and go, this painting is a 7. This painting is an 8.9. No. I think it's like, no, everybody.
I like your douche voice. That's a fun voice.
Yeah, I hear it a lot, so I get a long practice.
All right, let's continue with the lottery question. Ryan?
Yeah, so normally I don't take anything seriously because I'm just a funny, happy-go-lucky, good-looking guy, but I'm going to take this serious for a minute because it is a serious question. So if I won the lottery, in all seriousness, outside of my comedic gems, I'm going to pay off all my family's bills, all their debts, all that stuff. I'm going to buy my parents...
Reading off my paper again. Yeah, okay, cool.
Hey, what did you say?
Reading off my paper again, that's
listen, I may have borrowed 1 or 2 words, but I'm not copying the whole gosh darn thing. Sue me if I don't use Grammarly. But anyway... Whatever. Anyway, so aside from paying off all my family,
plagiarism is a real thing.
Exactly. Thank you.
Plagiarism.com.
You're what? Yes, exactly. # always promote your non-existent sponsorship.
And we're not sponsored by them.
Yeah, no, exactly. I just want to make that perfectly clear. There are no one's paying me to say any of this. I'm just saying this off the cuff.
Go ahead.
We do that. So aside from paying off all family's debts, I would buy my parents a new and much better looking and accessible house because they're they're kind of getting older, so they need to be more accessible to certain things in life. Just saying. So I would do that, and then I would donate a good portion of the money to my favorite places, known as the Hussman Center for Adults with Autism, Pathfinders for Autism, local organizations and charities here in my state of Maryland, aka the Land of Mary. Because they're awesome people, I support what they do, and I take autism very seriously as someone who is on the spectrum myself, and I'm a person with extraordinary gift. I do say so myself. But yeah, I would donate all of that stuff to them, and whatever money I got left over, I would do a bit of traveling, go to some conventions, because I do miss going to things like conventions. That's kind of a thing, right?
Come on down, dude. We've got so many coming up. It's like
trust me, Brian Wentzoff won't shut up about how many conventions
I have a second bedroom right there. You have more than welcome, open availability, whatever you want.
You have that. You have millions of conventions I want to visit and millions of celebs I want to meet, including.
Just move here. It's fine.
What's that?
Just move down. It's fine.
Yeah, I probably should. Just like Willow and I, we should move down to Florida.
You and Willow
right? Willow, pack your bags. We're moving. So yeah, that's what I would do with the slide.
And then Steve telling you guys.
As soon as you guys move down here, I'll open up a Gideon's in Canada.
I'll have to transfer to a Starbucks down in Florida. Work there for a little.
500 of them. You'll be all right.
Literally within the 2 miles I live in, about 20.
That's a lot of Starbucks, if I do say so myself.
And yet I will still go to Disney Springs, and I missed my window tonight to go get my peanut butter cold brew. But I'll be there tomorrow.
If it makes you feel any better, the virtual queue, we were hit capacity at like 6 o'clock today.
Yeah, but your line is pretty great. When I'll get there in the morning, be like, okay, great, I'll see you guys in like 4 hours. Okay, bye.
Yeah.
But I love that you did that. They installed this virtual queue pretty much right off the bat, right, Steve?
Yeah, day one. Yeah.
And so people are crazy, and for a good reason, but you can get there, you go in the morning, you get a couple hours, you'll get a text to let you know, like, hey, it's your turn. You get like a 15-minute wait in line. It's great. And if it's raining,
when there's a
it's the
virtual
best time to go.
queue, like on a day like today, it's a 5-hour virtual queue. So you can go see Dune, go have dinner at Haleo, and then boom, it's time for dessert.
Yep.
Yeah, it's not that. It's really
like
easy.
I'm living in the
as long
wrong
as
place. I got to get my keys
You
to ground in
are.
Florida, just like you, Willow.
You don't even need a car. They're literally all in the same complex. So you can just go to the movie theater and have dinner. You can go buy yourself a pair of shoes, some fancy jewelry, and then get a cookie.
The theme of this
I am a bit of a
conversation
movie
is
nut,
it's time
I'll
for
give you
everybody
that.
to move to Florida.
I think that's the
that's
biggest summary we're going to get out of this program. But I do want to say it was very nice meeting you, Heather. Steve,
Yeah,
I wish
same
you
here.
both the best of luck with your businesses and your future endeavors, as a former owner once said. But still, I digress. Enjoy yourselves. And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Take care, Ryan.
All right.
Bye.
So I do want to say how I heard about Gideon's is through Discovery Network's Food Network. They gave a pretty good review of the place, and I'll
Food
definitely.
Network?
Yeah.
Really? I
Brian
didn't even
is-
know about that.
Brian's
Food Network, Steve?
I knew I
Brian-
was on Food Network in Brazil, but did you see this in Brazil, Brian?
No,
Brian's
there was a write
food
up
prince
on
a
there.
pauper's paycheck. He is a food prince on a pauper's paycheck.
Yeah.
Like
awesome.
he has got real expensive taste. Me, I'm like, I can't afford that. I mean, I know it's not the best of anything, but I'm like, it's got to be like, I'm like planning the trip in my head. I'm like, this would cost us like just to go to Disney Springs, and we live like 45 minutes away, but to go to Disney Springs would cost
And go to Gideon.
$200. And go to Gideon.
Wait, what was the
peanut butter
cake that
cold
came
brew.
out today, Steve? Pumpkin double caramel something for this weekend?
It's a pumpkin caramel double frosted cake. The cake is a vanilla cinnamon swirl cake with a cream cheese pumpkin frosting and a caramel buttercream frosting. I
Okay, I
love
might
double
not hate
frosted
that.
cakes. Yeah, it's
I might
really
not
really
hate
nice. It's really really nice. I like that one a lot.
I might not hate that. I'm just saying, like, I don't like pumpkin. I'm not.
Oh yeah, they're not. I like all the pumpkin things that we do. I think are really interesting. Like even the
It's
pumpkin
not
chais.
Starbucks pumpkin at all.
No, like our pumpkin chai is very ginger forward, so it's more similar to our ginger snap that no longer exists because everybody really loved the pumpkin chai, and having them both didn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, I mean, everything we do is so much different than the way everybody does it. Mostly because I don't know what I'm doing, so I tend to approach things.
But that's better.
Jumps right up my body. Oh,
Oh no.
oh, hey, buddy.
The cats are getting jealous. I think we should start to wrap up, kids. We've been on air for a while.
We'll definitely have to bring Steve back and talk about some
Anytime,
other
dude.
stuff.
Anytime, you're welcome back.
Yeah, I mean, you guys talk about all the stuff that I can talk about forever. So
I know. Told you you're gonna have a good Saturday night.
So,
yeah, and you got me in pajama mode, so hair down. The last time
Woo!
I will say the last time my hair was down when I was on a podcast, someone called me the hipster Hagrid. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna hide my hair from
I'm
now.
gonna start putting these
Why
in
do
a book.
they have to why do they have to give everybody a weird nickname? Like
I don't know.
why does it have
Because
to
it
be
makes
some
them feel
weird
closer
mashup?
to godliness. I don't know.
I don't mind nicknames because I'm not fond of my actual name. Like if I were to go back in time, I would have changed my name before opening up Disney Springs, so I wouldn't
What
have
would
to
you have
hear
changed
my
it
name.
to?
I don't know. I have to really think about it. I
Okay,
have
what's
a
your
friend
favorite
who's-
nickname you've ever been told that you were?
Oh, I don't think I have one.
You've told
I
us
really
all the
don't.
ones you hate.
Yeah, well, it's so the thing is, it's really the question really is what name do you feel like? And I
what
haven't
name do you feel
discovered that yet. Yeah.
that he's
So like
saving
when
that in his autobiography.
but the when at WWE they're like they said Steve Lewis and I come down the stage, I'm like, oh God, what a boring name. Like
Oh my
what?
god! No,
Yeah.
I think that's like the surprise. If you
Steve.
think that it's a boring name and then you come
Oh,
out with like
it's
your
so
flowing hair
boring.
and they're like, yeah, cookies.
Yeah, no, I didn't have my hair down. I had my beanie on for that. Like my hair
Oh, that's
down at
right, you
wrestling
did.
would have made sense. Because I just come from work. I didn't know I was going to be on TV.
I mean, they didn't give you time to do
Oh,
makeup
wow.
or anything. Awful. Yeah.
No,
I
they
did
didn't-
forget
they
you had a
didn't.
beanie.
Okay, but you do have great hair for wrestling. Like it's not like every other wrestler that well, except for Jungle Boy.
And
there was a lot of guys with hair like mine there.
Jungle Boy is Luke Perry's son.
Jungle Boy's hair is the best.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
But everybody else's hair is really like just ew. You have great hair.
I used to be a Hardy Boys fan growing up, and that was like,
oh wow, yeah, Hardy Boys. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Matt Hardy, very nice dude.
I met Matt Hardy.
I will say that I don't think I've ever met so many ridiculously nice people under one building.
Yes.
Everybody I met was just lit up with happiness and excitement. And I'm happy to say so many, I mean, even over the years, we've had so many, not only wrestlers that are regulars, like Shawn Michaels gave me 30 minutes on his Gideon story, which was surreal. But we're really big in the bodybuilding community as a whole, the fitness community as a whole, probably because we don't use a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
So we don't blast you with sugar, and if you're, I hear a lot worth the calories. These are the worth the calories. If you're gonna have a cheat day, don't waste it on Chips Ahoy.
Right.
You know, go out and get something special.
So I'm gonna give you time to plug one more time. Where can people find you?
Steve.
Instagram, Gideon's Bakehouse. That's where everything really happens. And I do, if anybody's listening that has never been to Disney Springs, I do ask people to go to the website at gideonsbakehouse.com and look for the things to know before you visit Disney Springs section.
That's true.
So that your expectations are properly set. Because if you show up at 8 o'clock, on a Friday night, excited to go to Gideon's, which I appreciate and I completely understand because that's a normal thing to do, but get turned away because we're at capacity for the night. It's hard for people to understand that if they don't expect it, and that's when I get the hate.
Batting your eyes at the door host does not work.
No, yeah, not a lot does. So,
no.
So I do like to I try to educate people before they go so they know what to expect, because I don't, I remember when we first opened, people would say, "Oh, I'm going to wait till it calms down."
I remember. It keeps saying it, and you're like, it's not.
It's never calmed down. Every year of Gideon's has been bigger than the previous year.
I think they're going to wind up trying to get you to expand either to a satellite location on the other side of Disney Springs, like how Wolfgang Pucks did.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's so massive, Steve. It's
incredible to see I think they love us just the way we are. It's a spectacle.
I'm gonna start singing. Just the way. Okay.
And even though I personally love it without the virtual queue, when there's just a line, like the only time we've experienced that was during the back to school time.
It was a couple. It was about a month and a half. It was great.
And we had like a good month of just weekends are always maxed out, but we had a good month of it only took 30 minutes to get to Gideon's Bakehouse today. And
it was September 19th. I don't think you were there. I brought my best friend from Wisconsin, her entire family. There were 12 of us. It was pouring rain. I think I texted you after. I was like, oh my God, pouring rain. They had all never been to Gideon's, but they were dying to go. And we wound up waiting. It was still like a 20-minute wait on the pouring down rain. We get inside, like they got the big brown bags, like they're soaked in the rainwater. We go out. I mean, I think we dropped like $400 in cookies just because it was just so good. And it was the warm, perfect time. It was great.
Yeah,
it's
a lot of
cookie hour.
Yeah, hot cookie hour is amazing. We do those 2 hours a day now. There's a 2 to 3 and a 7 to 8. I don't like to sell my cookies hot. You get more of the flavor profile at room temperature, so you can like I use real vanilla bean in my chocolate chip cookie. You're not going to taste any vanilla if you eat a hot chocolate chip cookie. You're only going to taste chocolate. If you really think about what happens when you eat a chocolate chip cookie fresh out of the oven, it's pretty much just chocolate. So, but the one exception is I do 2 hours a day. That's a hot cookie hour where you can get a hot chocolate chip cookie with Kelly's homemade ice cream on top. We use a local homemade ice cream.
Love Kelly's homemade. Oh my God. The birthday cake ice cream is my favorite.
It's fantastic. But overall, for people that have never been to Gideon's and want to know, going to Instagram is everything. I don't post a lot. I'll post just a few times a month because I don't want to desensitize people with just like some quirky saying about a cookie and a picture of a cookie. Like that's useless. I post when there's I post when there's something new, when there's something happening.
Okay, but the pictures are beautiful.
Thank you. I love photography, so I have a lot of fun taking photos. And Cassandra, who did who handmade the plates, also will come in and help me really if I need to take a next level photo with a lot of really cool decor in it. Yeah, those are all like older. You got to get to those newer ones. I started getting better.
I purposely scrolled to the bottom to see, how different things were. Like
so
these are the plays he's talking about, the Cassandra mix.
Yeah, those are really, really nice. Cool. Yeah, they're all completely handmade.
Oh, there's my Frankenstein cookie.
There it is. See, so like a photo like that, I'll take like an hour to get a photo right, whereas a lot of the photos are like, oh crap, I got to take a quick photo.
See, look at how beautiful that.
Sandra and I spent like 3 hours getting that photo where we wanted it. Yeah. So that's when we really get that lighting and work hard because
RV is gone, right?
Oh, my Mephistopheles snack cakes. Those are gone. That was a one weekend only. Like I love the idea of doing a line of Gideon's snack cakes, or as we call them, Mephistopheles snack cakes.
They were perfect.
Yeah, they were a lot of fun.
You're open 7 days a week, and what are your hours?
So Disney Springs is open 365. We're always going to be open whatever Disney Springs hours are. So if Disney Springs posts like they're open till 11:30 or midnight and they change it, we change with it. Right now it's 10 to 11 every day of the week except for Friday and Saturday. It's 10 to 11:30. It's an extra 30 minutes on those days. And East End Market is 7 days a week, 10 to 7 straight through. But they're closed on same thing. We're at the whim of East End Market when it comes to what day they're closed. So they might be. Sometimes they decide, hey, we're going to be closed on Labor Day. Right. Like, no, I don't want to be closed, but we're closed. So our weirdly, people will trust Google more than my own website, which always makes me batty. And they yell at me for it. And I actually can't control the Disney Springs Google page because I don't have an address at Disney, and you verify that you own a business through Google by them sending a postcard to that business, but they can't do that. So I can't update the Disney Springs Google page, but people could submit changes that I have nothing to do with, and they just change it. Somebody reported to Apple Maps that we were permanently closed, and it stayed that way for 8 months.
Are you serious? The Disney Springs location, East End?
Yeah. So at Disney Springs, and I couldn't change it because I can't verify that space because of where it is.
But they can verify that it's permanently closed.
But they can, and that was my argument to them, and I'm like,
that's why Apple sucks. No offense.
It was rough.
Location, you're right close to that Marvel superhero. Well, they can't call it Marvel because of Universal, but that superhero
headquarters.
Yeah.
No, that's more to the left. If you're I'm really in the middle.
Brian, do you remember where the original main entrance to Pleasure Island was?
Oh yes, the best place.
It's right there. So, and what's cool about Gideon's is you can't miss us. There's a giant gargoyle on the roof and a line around the building.
I think I actually have the poster somewhere in front of me from the release of the gargoyle.
Oh, yeah, my beautiful gargoyle. I love the story behind that gargoyle is a special one.
It was pristine.
Well, we're going to have him back so that he can tell that story.
I have way too many stories, my friends.
Story time with Steve.
So, Heather, where can people find you?
Right here, every Saturday.
Yes. And still serving?
StillServingFlorida.com, which will take them to the Facebook page. And anytime Steve posts something, I always share it because I'm a good friend.
You do, and I try to see it. And I'm so terrible on Facebook. You message me on iMessage, and I'm surprised I see it. I've got so many.
I was like, I'm gonna send him a message. He won't read it for another month, and you responded right away. I was like, hey Brian, so Steve said he's down. And he's like, you got a hold of him already? I'm like, yeah. He must be bored.
Instagram is such a beast. I get hundreds of messages on Instagram every day.
Messenger.
But Facebook, I'm like, I can't do both.
Fine.
You know, DM me on Instagram. You get faster response.
I'll Insta instead.
Yeah, you're the I know to look for you on iMessage.
Great.
Or is that what it's called? No, iMessage is the
PM,
Apple.
direct
Yeah,
message.
whatever.
I don't even know. No, I think I messaged you like 2 months ago because I was checking on Kelsey because she was acting a little bit funny in email, and I was like, "Is Kelsey okay?"
Did I even see that? I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't even remember seeing that.
Like scroll for a hot second. Because I've known Kelsey. Kelsey is his community manager all over, like Badass Girl. And we worked at the movie theater at Waterford Lakes together. In, like,
I didn't know you and Kelsey went back. Wow.
Way, way back.
Yeah, she's with the East End manager, Kelsey.
Yep.
If you guys go to East End, you'll see her over there. Well, I think the answer, this is a belated answer, but yes, she's fine.
Thank you. I assumed as much after I spoke to her, and she was fine.
Oh, good. Sorry.
So Willow, what about you? Any pillow talk coming up?
Probably next week. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow night is Cryptic Crunch on the back of the Cereal Box Network. We're talking about the Mothman.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So if you're into that at all, please join us tomorrow night for our tongue-in-cheek conversation about Mothman.
Hey, quick little side note. Ryan in the comments just called us cool cats, Heather.
Oh, wow.
Cool cat.
I'm not even looking.
Or are you saying that I have cool cats? Thank you, Ryan. You must not have been watching the whole time if you think we're the cool cats.
Maybe he was referring to your cats, like your actual
Yeah, that's
cats
what I think.
cats.
That makes sense. That I can get behind.
What time is that tomorrow, Willow?
8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Okay. And I think that's it for us. We don't have anything going on except for laundry.
Oh my God, I got to do laundry. I don't want to adult though. I missed my window to get my coffee. I'm going to go tomorrow and get on the virtual queue, Steve.
All right. Yeah, get there early for that pumpkin caramel. It's really nice. Patrick, my operations manager, he's I call him my left-hand man because my right hand's pretty good. That's his favorite cake. Yeah, my left hand's garbage. I need help on the left side.
Got to work on being ambidextrous.
Well, I said earlier I had a botched surgery on my left hand, so my left side is like I don't have the same coordination. It makes me crazy.
Oh no! Well, one day we'll hear the story.
But that's another story too.
Yes, Steve. Story time with Steve.
Yeah, story time with Steve. Next time, it's time to ring that bell.
That's funny.